Chapter 1625. No one had expected the early-stage minor primal core black-clad youth, Ling Yu, to defeat old Devil Lu, who had hundreds of years of combat experience, within 10 moves. The battle ended so quickly that it left everyone flabbergasted and in disbelief. The victor of this battle was the Black Cave Mountain's Ling Yu and the scholarly youth Jiang Xian from the Heavenly Shaking Mountain. Their consecutive victories tied once again. The scholarly youth, Jiang Xian, smiled and said, "Not bad, Ling Yu. Do you dare to go bigger?" "Afraid of you?" Ling Yu's lips curled up in a cold smile. "How do you want to play?" Jiang Xian smiled and said, "Let's fight 3 peak minor primal core cultivators at the same time. Let's see who wins first. Do you dare to or not?" What a joke. Why wouldn't I dare? As soon as these words were spoken, the entire arena descended into a frenzy. How arrogant! 1 against 3. Furthermore, Jiang Xian was a peak minor primal core cultivator who was 2 grades higher than Xiao Chen. The most important thing was that Jiang Xian did not consider failure at all. The key to their victory was still to see who could win first. This is crazy. Not only is he fighting 1 against 3, he actually wants to end the battle quickly. The 2 of them are exuding an imposing aura. I wonder if anyone else will step up. Don't worry. They have already won 21 matches in a row. If we defeat them, we will obtain an astronomical amount of spirit jades. There will definitely be people willing to give it a try. Amidst the discussions, 3 old men from each of the 2 arenas flew up one after another. Luo Nan exclaimed in shock, "These 2 people are somewhat horrifying. Can they win?" Xiao Chen was also a little shocked in his heart. If it were him, it would be a little strenuous for him to fight 1 against 3. A peak minor primal core venerate was not scary. What was scary was that the venerates who dared to go up at this moment were definitely not ordinary people. Without a trump card, no one would rashly go on stage. What kind of holy land was the blessed land for these 2 to be so confident? While Xiao Chen was deep in thought, he was also looking forward to it. He wanted to experience the charm of the blessed paradise. Quick, bet. I bet that these 2 brats won't be able to hold on. That's right, we've already fought for so long, at least half of our true essence has been consumed. I don't believe that he can defeat 3 peak minor primal core experts. Yes, I'll bet half of my net worth. The 6 of them are all pirate leaders who are much more powerful than old Monster Lu. Before the battle began, the atmosphere in the dueling ring had reached its peak. Everyone was watching and enthusiastically placing their bets. Xiao Suo pondered and said, "Captain, do you want us to go play as well?" After thinking for a while, Xiao Chen said, "Forget it. Small fights are boring. Even if you win too much, they will not let you leave this wrestling ring so easily." Yeah, that's true. The people behind the dueling ring are not people to be trifled with. Boom! An explosion resounded in the dueling ring as a surging shockwave spread out in the air. Wave after wave radiated out in all directions, causing one's heart to palpitate. Indeed, as many of the cultivators who placed their bets expected, Ling Yu and Jiang Xian, who fought 1 against 3, were no longer as relaxed as before. The 6 challengers on the 2 arenas seemed to be quite experienced, and their coordination was flawless. Those with stronger physical defenses focused on delaying Ling Yu and Jiang Xian. After that, the other 2 continuously harassed them, retreating after 1 strike. This was extremely annoying. The challengers on the 2 arenas all used the same strategy. They were rather shameless, continuously delaying and draining the 2's veritable essence energy. No matter what, these 2 geniuses from the blessed lands were only early-stage minor primal core cultivators. In the end, these old men, who had lived for hundreds of years, would definitely have purer cultivations. This method was shameless, but the effects were clear. In the arenas, Ling Yu and Jiang Xian frowned heavily, clearly feeling somewhat frustrated. Fight! 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 Take down these 2 and extinguish the pride of these geniuses. The atmosphere in the dueling ring surged. Everyone saw hope of victory. This was especially so for the cultivators who placed their bets. They went crazy, shouting hoarsely. After winning more than 20 matches in a row, these two outstanding talents from the Blessed Lands had already pushed the payout rate to an extremely horrifying level. As long as they won, everyone would earn a lot. However, if Ling Yu and Jiang Xian won, the dueling ring would suffer heavy losses, and the rewards for consecutive victories would be even more horrifying. The situation in the arenas did not exceed Xiao Chen's expectations. The three old men who went up to challenge Ling Yu were extremely experienced. These three old men were very experienced, and their coordination was boundless. Xiao Chen suspected that these three old men were nurtured by the wrestling ring itself. They were specially used to snipe those who could obtain consecutive victories. Xiao Chen had experienced such a situation before. Xiao Chen looked up and caught a glimpse. Suddenly, he saw the West Wind Tower's chief manager Ding and a stern old man watching the battle below. Both of them had smiles on their faces. Clearly, the situation was still under control. The reward for consecutive wins after 20 matches. This was something that any dueling ring owner would feel heartache about. It was the nature of merchants to pursue profit. Whoosh! Suddenly, the entire arena erupted in intense cheers. Xiao Chen looked around and discovered that Ling Yu had made a mistake. After getting hit by 2 moves, Ling Yu was forced into a corner, and blood leaked out of a corner of his lips. On the other side of the arena, Jiang Xian was very cautious. However, he still got hit, and his situation turned bad as well. Incredible! Xiao Chen thought to himself, these three really have a tacit understanding with each other. Furthermore, their combat experience is frightening. Unfortunately, your cultivations are still too low. Otherwise, you might really have the opportunity to be this arrogant, the old man in the arena said with a smile. Is that so? Ling Yu wiped off the blood at the corner of his lips and looked at the blood on his palm. Then, he revealed a strange smile. Old man, you are too naive. Ling Yu laughed coldly in the arena. Then, he shouted, and a heavy, tyrannical, and murderous aura from the great desolate Aeon surged out from his body. Suddenly, ripples that looked like starlight appeared on Ling Yu's exposed skin. It was like he had turned into a resplendent starry sky, vast and boundless, deep and distant. A layer of faint ripples appeared on Ling Yu's body. It looked like his skin was also like light, looking incredibly strange. At the same time, Jiang Xian, who was at a disadvantage on the other side of the arena, snorted coldly. Black patterns appeared on Jiang Xian's body. The patterns were exquisite and exuded a noble and proud aura, covering his physical body like a suit of armor. A strong aura spread out from the two. The 6 old men in the arenas felt suffocated, a tremor that came from their souls spreading throughout their bodies. Attack! Attack! The 6 old men felt that something was wrong. They endured the pressure and stepped forward bravely. The flood-like attacks drowned the two. However, something strange happened. Miserable cries rang out everywhere. No one could see what was going on. The 6 people who attacked at the same time in the arenas on both sides all went flying back and vomited blood. Whoosh! Whoosh! Countless starlights burst out of the arena where Ling Yu was, dazzling everyone. Flickering stars revolved around Ling Yu as he pushed his palm forward. Hundreds of flickering miniature stars shot out like a barrage of cannons. Whoosh! Before the 3 old men in the arena could get hit, the aura that Ling Yu sent out sent the spectators flying, unable to resist at all. Bang! 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 In the next moment, the bones of the 3 old men struck by the starlight gave off cracking sounds as they went flying back. After they fell to the ground, they immediately fainted. On the other side, Jiang Xian was like a great desolate Aeon ferocious beast. He took heavy steps and shook the ground, sending the 3 old men flying. The qi and blood of the 3 old men surged, and their skin tore like spiderwebs. Scarlet blood oozed out, looking extremely horrifying. Rumble. The terrifying auras coming from Jiang Xian and Ling Yu's bodies surged, emitting intense sounds that reverberated throughout the dueling ring. Plop! Plop! Some of the weaker Yang essence cultivators fell to the ground, unable to speak in unison. Many of the spectators, even those who were at the periphery, felt an inexplicable uneasiness in their souls. Xiaochen felt his bloodline tremble slightly. His expression could not help but turn grave. These two knew how to activate the Great Desolate Aeon bloodline and use it as they pleased. Great Desolate Aeon bloodline, it's the Great Desolate Aeon bloodline. Someone exclaimed hoarsely, turning pale with fright. Chapter 1626. The entire arena was shocked and silent. For many people, this was the first time they saw the might of the Great Desolate Aeon bloodline. The instant the power of the bloodline opened, the shock and pressure he brought to everyone would definitely be unforgettable for their entire lives. Through their spreading, the legend of the Great Desolate Aeon bloodline would further influence the world, gradually becoming a mythical existence. To be precise, during the primordial era, tens of thousands of races fought for supremacy. In the beginning, the ancestors of the myriad races were the direct descendants of the gods and devils during the chaotic era. It was not an exaggeration to say that their bloodlines were mythical. Although the pure-blooded untainted land bloodline no longer existed in this era, the little golden crow was an exception. Thump! Thump! The hearts of the various sects and the wandering pirates in the wrestling ring thumped non-stop. The blood in his body contained a power that came from the depths of his soul, causing his bloodline to tremble. The cultivators with weaker cultivations could not resist the two Great Desolate Aeon bloodlines. They were pressed to the ground, unable to get up. It was as if they were worshippers. Moreover, this was only the bloodline of the 10,000 races of the primordial world. It was not the strongest 100 races. In the Great Desolate Era, the 10,000 races fought for supremacy, and the strongest 100 races were selected. Then, they smoothly passed into the Epic Era. Their bloodlines were purer, and the power they inherited was stronger and longer. Xiao Chen was secretly shocked. However, he was not shocked because of the Great Desolate Aeon bloodline in their bodies. Instead, he was amazed at how the other party was able to activate the power of his bloodline and instantly burst forth with oppressive fighting prowess. Xiao Chen could feel the strength of his blue dragon bloodline. This was especially so after the life juice source continuously cleansed it. It was like a boundless treasure trove. But he couldn't use it at all. The benefits of the blue dragon bloodline were that his physical body was slightly stronger, and he could recover his veritable essence energy much faster than ordinary people. There was still a long way to go before it could be truly developed. I don't know when I will be able to activate my bloodline flexibly. Xiao Chen muttered to himself. There was a trace of anticipation in his heart, as well as a trace of depression. If it was anyone else, they would probably be unhappy, guarding a pile of treasures but not being able to use them. At the same time, Xiao Chen wondered why the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor's remnant soul in the Kunlun realm did not teach him the method to activate his bloodline after waking up once. Could it be that there were other mysteries behind this? Ha ha ha, who else? Who else dares to challenge me, Ling Yu? In the arena, Ling Yu exuded a tyrannical aura, causing everyone to feel a great pressure. No one dared to speak. Of course, no one dared to go up and humiliate themselves. The manager of the wrestling ring shook his head slightly and waved his hand in displeasure before walking off. On the other side, although the scholarly young man did not say anything, he did not conceal his domineering aura either. That Ling Yu seems to be an outstanding talent of the Black Cave Mountain. I wonder if he knows Senior Yi Zifeng. Xiao Chen looked at Ling Xian. They both came from the same blessed land. If Xiao Chen could form a connection with Ling Xian, it would be a great opportunity for him. In that case, the Black Cave Mountain ahead of him should be very simple. The other party definitely knew the way to the sect's transrealm teleportation formation. Xiao. Suddenly, Ling Yu turned his head and met Xiao Chen's gaze in the air. His heart skipped a beat. At this moment, the blood in his body circulated rapidly, as if he had met a competitor. The starlight flickering on his body became even more resplendent and dazzling, making people unable to look at him directly. What kind of bloodline power is this? It feels like a bloodline of the great desolate Aeon's 10,000 races. However, I have never heard of it before. It should be an extremely obscure bloodline of the great desolate Aeon's 10,000 races. Unexpectedly, Lingyu managed to meet a competitor in the blink of an eye. However, when Lingyu saw that Xiao Chen was only a half-step primal core cultivator, he immediately lost interest. He turned his head to look at Jiang Xian and asked, Jiang Xian, do you still want to continue? I suddenly feel that this is really pointless. Indeed. Indeed, there are no experts outside the blessed lands. Let's do this, then. Let's have another showdown here 7 days from now. Lingyu smiled. That's exactly what I wanted. Jiang Xian smiled faintly, and a folding fan appeared in his hand. With a gentle wave, he left this place, vanishing from everyone's sight. Lingyu pushed off with his feet and left the arena at the same time. However, just as Lingyu was about to leave, he somersaulted in the air and landed in front of Xiao Chen. This startled everyone, causing their gazes to land on Xiao Chen. What was the background of this young man dressed in white with a calm expression? To think that he could make the outstanding talents of the blessed lands stop for him. Might I ask which sect you are from? Or are you from another astral cluster? How come I don't seem to have heard of you before? Lingyu was somewhat curious about Xiao Chen. The three blessed lands were not far from each other. The disciples of the three blessed lands often competed with each other, so they were rather familiar with each other. Lingyu was very sure that the three blessed lands did not have someone like Xiao Chen in his memory. Xiao Chen smiled calmly and said, I am Xiao Chen. I do not have a master. I am just a wanderer. When Lingyu heard that, he could not help feeling somewhat disappointed. He had thought that the other party was the disciple of some hidden expert. In that case, even if Xiao Chen's cultivation was low and his bloodline was not as noble as Lingyu's, he could still befriend him. When Xiao Chen thought about the Black Cave Mountain, he asked probingly, Sir, do you have time to talk to me alone? Lingyu thought that Xiao Chen was trying to curry favor with him, so he smiled politely and said politely, Sorry, I have to enter closed-door cultivation to prepare for the duel with Jiang Xian. We will talk again if there is a chance. Right after Lingyu spoke, he turned and left, not giving Xiao Chen a chance to continue the conversation. Xiao Chen's expression appeared somewhat stunned. However, he soon smiled and let it go. Xiao Chen was very clear on Lingyu's thoughts. In his opinion, there was not much of a problem. With such strength and arrogance, it wasn't a big deal at all. However, Xiao Chen was still too young and did not let Xiao Chen finish speaking. Fei said unhappily, Big brother Xiao Chen, he is brushing you off. When Xiao Chen heard that, he could not help smiling. It was rare to see someone as straightforward as Fei. Let's go. I am not brushing him off. I do have something to see if I can strike a deal with him. He has his own motives. If he is not willing to say anything to me, then so be it. Xiao Chen remained calm, not taking this to heart. If Lingyu knew that Xiao Chen wanted to use the golden life juice source to exchange for a chance to reach the Black Cave Mountain quickly, he would probably regret it so much that his intestines would turn green. Even if he were to shamelessly strike a deal with Xiao Chen, he would still want to strike a deal with him. The Four and Wang Feng's group did not linger, turning to leave. As the people in the wrestling ring looked at Xiao Chen's departing figure, they felt that this person was incredible. There were more than 10,000 people here, and many of them had rather high cultivations. However, Lingyu stopped for this person. Although he did not say much, at this point, it was sufficient to prove how extraordinary Xiao Chen was. The moment Xiao Chen left the wrestling ring, he froze where he stood with a stunned look in his eyes. At the same time, the old man preparing to enter the wrestling ring across Xiao Chen was stunned as well. Xiao Chen stared blankly for a moment before saying with a smile, What a coincidence to see you again, senior. It's really a small world. It's better to meet by chance than to invite. I'll treat you to a drink as a token of gratitude for saving my life. Yes, the person standing before him was the gray-clothed old man from the school of imperial beasts. However, the ones beside him weren't his two disciples. They should be good friends or something like that. Xiao Chen's cultivation was slightly lower, only an early-stage major primal core cultivator. However, he similarly gave off an extremely strong pressure. The gray-clad old man smiled and said, "Indeed. It's a small world. I heard that 2 geniuses from the Blessed Lands came, so I came to take a look. I didn't expect to actually meet you here. What a coincidence. However, I will not drink the wine. Just hand over all your remaining life juice source." The old man secretly sent a voice projection to Xiao Chen, not wanting too many people to hear him. Xiao Chen smiled. He had risked his life to obtain that life juice source. How could he give it up? "Since Senior doesn't want to drink this wine of mine, I won't let you down. In that case, I'll be a senior of noble character and unquestionable integrity. I'm willing to give up. Goodbye." Inside the pirate hall, Xiao Chen did not fear the other party attacking him in public. He smiled faintly and led the confused Xiao Sua and the others away calmly. The 2 old friends of the gray-clad old man were confused as well. "My 2 old friends, can you do me a favor? Feel free to speak your mind. When this brat leaves the pirate hall, we will capture him alive together." Chapter 1627. "Captain, what's wrong?" Xiao Sua asked quickly. After leaving the wrestling ring, he noticed that something was wrong. Xiao Chen replied calmly, "That's for when we return. When can our ship be repaired?" "At least half a month," Xiao Sua answered. "Half a month?" Xiao Chen entered deep thought. "Then," he said, "in that case, we'll stay here for half a month and modify the ship." "We are in trouble." A late-stage major primal core cultivator and 2 early-stage major primal core cultivators were not easy to deal with. After leaving the pirate hall, the other party would definitely seek trouble for Xiao Chen. He had to make preparations in advance. This was too coincidental. The moment Xiao Chen stepped out of the wrestling ring, he ran into the other party. If that Ling Yu from the Grotto Heaven had not spoken to Xiao Chen, he would have brushed past the other party. However, fate was sometimes so coincidental. "Wang Feng, do you have any way to modify pirate ships in the pirate hall? It is not an official one of the Pirate Alliance but a private one." Xiao Chen looked at Wang Feng, who was behind him. When Wang Feng heard Xiao Chen call out to him, he felt excited. He thought to himself, "I have to make good use of this opportunity." Wang Feng could already tell that this white-clad youth before him was definitely a big customer. As long as he served Xiao Chen well, he would definitely benefit greatly. This was a good opportunity to make up for his mistakes. Wang Feng quickly put on a smile and said, "I do." In fact, many people from other factions come to the Pirate Alliance to modify their ships. After all, the Pirate Alliance's shipbuilding skills are famous throughout the world. As long as the core formation diagram and some secrets are not leaked, the Pirate Alliance will turn a blind eye to this matter. Many shipbuilders are actually the masters of the Pirate Alliance. They know when to advance and when to retreat. I wonder, what grade does young Master Xiao want? After some thought, Xiao Chen asked, "There are grades." "That is natural. How can there not be grades? You can do as much as you spend. As long as you can pay the right price, I can even find the peak shipbuilders of the Pirate Alliance." Xiao Chen nodded and said, "In that case, find the best one." "What is the price?" When Wang Feng heard that, he immediately showed a bitter expression. He seemed to have boasted too much. This. Xiao Chen interrupted, "Just say that aside from the spirit jades, I can provide you with the life juice source. If the other party does not believe me, you can use this to show them." Wang Feng received a jade bottle and opened it. However, he found that it was empty. However, the lingering aura of the life juice source could not be faked. It could not be faked. Wang Feng's expression changed dramatically, and his heart thumped heavily. He whispered, "Young Master Xiao, can you take out some life juice source? That would be more convincing." Xiao Chen firmly refused, "Impossible. You know your own character very well. However, if you do well after this, I can give you at least 2 kilograms of pure life juice source." "Chen," he said. Wang Feng with Wang Xiao Chen with Chen, nodded. With, Wang, Chen said. With, Chen. Xiao, Chen, right. Xiao with Chen with. He. Chen. Xiao Feng, Chen, said, with, Xiao Chen. Feng, he. Xiao Chen too. The 2 cold steel eagles had also caught a lot of prey on this trip. The materials of many oceanic ferocious beasts were very valuable. This was a good opportunity to get rid of them. Wang Feng received Xiao Chen's list and took a look. His heart immediately thumped heavily, and he became somewhat distracted. This was really a big deal. If he managed to get these deals done, just the middleman fees alone would earn him a lot. Just 1 or 2 of the many natural treasures would be worth half of his fortune. I promise to do this very well and not let down young master's trust. After saying that, Wang Feng quickly left. Right now, he was very excited and filled with vigor. "Captain, is this person reliable?" "He looks shifty-eyed. With one look, I can tell that he is not a very magnanimous person." Xiao Suo frowned and said, "He is very meticulous and definitely very crafty." Xiao Chen smiled and said, "Don't worry. He knows his limits and understands the severity of the situation." Xiao Chen had already taken this person down a peg with the West Wind Tower's matter, letting him know how powerful he was. If Wang Feng dared to play any tricks, he would be tired of living. The most important thing was that Xiao Chen believed that the benefits he promised would definitely tempt the other party. Xiao Chen changed the topic and looked at Xiao Suo. "After today, you will be responsible for taking over with this Wang Feng." There was no need for Xiao Chen to persuade Wang Feng to deal with these trivial matters. That would waste too much time. Xiao Suo smiled and said, "Don't worry. Leave it to me. I have plenty of experience dealing with such people. I guarantee that he will not dare to play any tricks." Xiao Chen nodded and looked at Luo Nan and Fei Er. "Big brother Xiao Chen, what instructions do you have?" Fei Er asked softly with a smile. Xiao Chen said seriously, "I want you to investigate the blessed land, the Black Cave Mountain. The more detailed, the better. At the same time, figure out the best route to the Black Cave Mountain from here. It would be best to see if there are any transrealm transportation formations that we can use." "Alright, leave it to me and senior brother." The Black Cave Mountain was Xiao Chen's next destination. He needed to make preparations in advance. The preparation work began to be carried out in an orderly manner. As for Xiao Chen, he closed his eyes and started cultivating in the inn that he was staying in. He saw the unparalleled berserk and boundlessly tyrannical auras from the Great Desolate Aeon after Ling Yu and Jiang Xian activated their bloodline powers. A sense of danger welled up in Xiao Chen's heart. He finally understood the distance between him and these people. Whether Xiao Chen was willing to admit it or not, he did not have much of a chance of victory against the 2 after they activated their bloodline powers. At best, he had a 50-50 chance. This was even with Xiao Chen having many trump cards, grasping great Tao energy, and consuming a lot of life juice source to improve his physical body. There was too little time left for Xiao Chen. After all, he had spent the first 20 years of his cultivation in the abandoned land. As for those people, the gap was too great in the blessed land. However, Xiao Chen did not give up on himself. If he could cross the hurdle of the half-step primal core realm and reach the same cultivation as those 2, his chances of victory would reach 70%. More importantly, the bloodline power in Xiao Chen's body was also a treasure trove. Furthermore, it was even more vast. It was just that he could not find a way to develop it for now. Now that he had accumulated enough, it would only be a matter of time before he soared into the sky. Early the next morning, under Xiao Suo's instructions, everyone on the Black Cutlass got busy again. The crew members were full of enthusiasm. No one had expected that in just a few months, they would be able to make such a great progress. No one had expected that in a few short months, their ship would undergo another modification and become even stronger. Aside from some important news, Xiao Sua, Luo Nan, and Fei Er would not disturb Xiao Chen. They could deal with most of the miscellaneous matters by themselves. 3 days later, it was finally time for a matter that Xiao Chen had to deal with personally. After Wang Feng used all his connections, he finally helped Xiao Chen invite a Grandmaster shipwright from the Pirate Alliance. Anyone who could obtain the title of Grandmaster in the Pirate Alliance could be considered at the peak. Young hero Xiao Chen, this is the Pirate Alliance's Grandmaster Jean. His shipbuilding skills are definitely at the peak in this pirate hall. Many rank 3 sect elders find it very difficult to meet Grandmaster Jean. Wang Feng looked at Xiao Chen with a fawning expression as he introduced an unprepossessing old man not far away. Stop sucking up. You are this fellow's master. Let me ask you, do you really have the life juice source? Who knew that Grandmaster Jean did not give Wang Feng any face? He directly looked at Xiao Chen and asked rudely. Xiao Chen gave Wang Feng a look, and Wang Feng tactfully withdrew. There's no rush. Sir, come and take a look at my ship first. If you have any opinions, you can tell me, Xiao Chen said politely with a calm expression. Whether this person was a real Grandmaster or a fake Grandmaster, he had to reveal something. Asking for the life juice source the moment he opened his mouth? Xiao Chen was not that foolish. Hee. When Grandmaster Jean heard that, he laughed. It looks like it is most likely real. To think that you are still testing me. Very well, I'll go and take a look with you. Chapter 1628. After arriving at the Black Cutlass pirate ship, Xiao Chen got all the crew members to disembark. Then, he showed Master Jean around the ship. What is below? Are you not going to let me in to take a look? Master Jean asked as he pointed to the entrance. Xiao Chen smiled and said, there is no need for that. It was best not to expose the immemorial demon soul formation if possible. Furthermore, Xiao Chen did not believe that the other party had the ability to modify the immemorial demon soul formation. Master Jean did not find this strange. After he disembarked, he said, with one look, I can tell that this ship of yours is the work of a great master. The standard of this ship is no lower than mine. In fact, it might even be higher. Xiao Chen remained silent. He did not deny it or admit it, letting the other party continue. That person left a lot of room for upgrading the pirate ship. Honestly speaking, it is really a waste for you to invite me over. Xiao Chen found this strange, so he asked, what do you mean? Master Jean pointed to the ship and said, the original person who modified it is very experienced. As long as you have sufficient resources and follow his train of thought, you just need to modify it step by step. There is no need to use your brain, understand? No matter how ordinary a shipwright is, they can easily see through it and complete what you want to do. Let me think. I should have heard of all the shipwrights with such skill, who could it be? As Master Jean chatted, he started to get distracted. Xiao Chen quickly interrupted, are you saying that the original shipwright already fixed the direction of future upgrades? Yes, that's right. That's what I mean. You can just find any shipwright to give the overall command. There is no need for me to handle such a small matter. Xiao Chen was greatly startled. Unexpectedly, Senior Gui was so strong. When he thought about the immemorial demon soul formation, it seemed like it had a significant background. After thinking, Master Jean turned around and left, not lingering at all. Xiao Chen quickly stepped forward and stopped Master Jean. Master, many thanks for your honesty. However, I would still like to ask you to help modify this pirate ship. Master Jean frowned and asked, are you sure? Your ship does not need to be modified at all. You just need to follow the other party's train of thought. If you ask me to help, I will not lower the price. My time is very precious. Price is not a problem. Xiao Qin smiled. He liked interacting with such honest people. Then, he took out a jade bottle containing the silver life juice source. What a pure life juice source. Its quality is at least superior grade. Master Jean opened the bottle cap, and his eyes lit up. Clearly, he had not expected this life juice source to be so pure. Originally, Xiao Qin thought that it was just an ordinary life juice source, just purer and free of impurities. If Xiao Qin knew that Xiao Qin still had the golden life juice source, what would he think? Suppressing the doubts in his heart, Master Jean did not ask Xiao Qin how he obtained the life juice source. After thinking for a while, he accepted the jade bottle and said, "With this bottle of life juice source, my grandson will be able to break through the bottleneck of the primal core realm. His vitality and physique will also increase by several levels. How about this? I won't take advantage of you. I'll help you prepare the materials you need to level up. I'll give you a 50% discount." Xiao Qin performed a cupped fist salute and said, "In that case, many thanks, Master Jean." Master Jean appeared very satisfied. He smiled and said, "That's easy. I'll help you level up to 4-star, then. Speed, defense, offensive power, which do you want to focus on?" After thinking for a while, Xiao Qin said, "Speed and defense, then." For now, he did not really need offensive power. He mainly wanted to use it for traveling and defending against enemies. After that, they started to discuss the other details, such as what kind of materials to use. Would there be a need for some explosive speed increasing formations? The discussion was a great eye-opener for Xiao Qin. Unexpectedly, building a pirate ship was so complicated. Many of the things involved were things that Xiao Qin had never heard of. Fortunately, Master Jean patiently explained them to him, allowing him to learn a lot. "In that case, I'll take my leave first. I'll bring someone over tomorrow." Master Jean took his leave. After he left, Xiao Sua nearly jumped up in excitement. A 4-star pirate ship. Xiao Sua had never dreamed that he would be able to pilot a 4-star pirate ship one day. All the crew members were incredibly excited as well. Back then, the Golden Setting Sun 3-star pirate ship had caused a huge commotion in Purple Sun City. However, the Black Cutlass had only been modified to 4-star and not purchased from the Pirate Alliance. It still looked rather ordinary. Ordinary people would find it hard to tell with one glance. This was somewhat vexing. However, it suited Xiao Chen's character. "I'll leave the rest to you. Whether we can get rid of that late-stage major primal core cultivator or not will depend on this ship," Xiao Qin said as he looked at Xiao Sua. Xiao Sua patted his chest and smiled. "Don't worry. There will definitely not be any mistakes. Oh, right, the decryption of the Scarlet Blood pirate flag should be coming out soon. Let me know when the results are out." After another 3 days, Fei came to Xiao Chen's room and reported the news of the 3 blessed lands. "Big brother Xiao Chen, I've already scouted out the information. I also found the sailing route. It's been hard on you. Tell me about it." "Yes, the 3 blessed lands are not far from each other, in the center of the Grave Sea. That connected sea region is heavily guarded. If one is not a disciple of the blessed lands, one will not be able to enter. The spiritual energy of the world in the blessed lands is 10 times denser than outside. More than 20 third-grade sects and a small number of 4th-grade sects were stationed in each blessed abode. The rank 3 sects in there are several times stronger than the rank 3 sects in the outside world. There is simply no comparison. Simply put, that place is an aloof holy land. To outsiders, they can only watch from afar." After hearing that, Xiao Qin frowned. He had not thought of this. To think that the blessed lands did not even give outsiders a chance to enter. How was Xiao Qin supposed to get in touch with Yi Zifeng? "Big brother Xiao Qin, perhaps that Ling Yu has a way," Fei whispered. Xiao Qin shook his head and said indifferently, "There is no need. That person is too arrogant. If we go looking for him, we will only humiliate ourselves. You can leave first. I'll think of a way." "Right. Upon seeing Xiao Chen frown and knowing that she could not help the other party, Fei Er left unhappily. Xiao Chen toyed with an engraved card in his hand. Then, he raised his head and revealed a contemplative expression. The West Wind Tower's Ding Yuan. This person might have a chance of getting Xiao Chen into the Blessed Lands. Holding the engraved card, Xiao Chen entered the West Wind Tower again and received preferential treatment. A pretty maidservant with a graceful figure led Xiao Chen to the highest floor of the tower. In the VIP room, Ding Yuan was still slowly brewing tea. When he saw Xiao Chen arrive, he smiled and said, "What's wrong? You want to go to the wrestling ring and earn a lot of money?" Xiao Chen sat down and received a cup of tea that the other party handed to him. After taking a sip, he said, "This tea is pretty good. If I can obtain consecutive victories and lose one more time, Chief Manager Ding will definitely feel even better." Ding Yuan laughed loudly and said, "You know quite a lot, unlike those two geniuses from the Blessed Lands. They are so cocky that their tails are about to reach the sky. No matter how much I advise them, they will not listen. How about it? You win 20 consecutive victories, and then we fight for 21. Xiao Chen put down his teacup and said calmly, "That's a pretty good suggestion. However, I came to look for you because I have something else to discuss." Upon hearing that, the smile on Ding Yuan's face vanished. He said indifferently, "I'm only interested in business. If there is nothing else, let's drink some tea. Consider it an apology for what happened back then. I came to look for you because of a business deal." "Oh. What kind of business?" Ding Yuan asked casually, his interest piqued. Xiao Chen said indifferently, "Send me into the Black Cave Mountain, and I'll give you sufficient compensation." "Are you interested in this business deal?" Ding Yuan smiled and said, "Let's just drink some tea." "I don't have that ability." "You overestimate me." "I know you don't have that ability, but you should know someone who does." Xiao Chen enunciated every word as he calmly analyzed, "With your strength and status, you should already be able to come into contact with such an existence." Ding Yuan's expression turned grave. He looked at Xiao Chen and said, "It looks like you are serious." "I do indeed know such a person. However, I'm sorry, I cannot trust you. Even if you give me a high compensation, I cannot help you." Trust, this was a big problem. If Xiao Chen did something disrespectful in the Blessed Land, Ding Yuan would not be able to escape responsibility. That would definitely be a dead end. No matter how big the business was, it was not as important as his life. Since Ding Yuan did not trust Xiao Chen, no matter how Xiao Chen explained, Ding Yuan would not believe him. The problem of trust was indeed somewhat unsolvable. Just as Xiao Chen felt that he had reached a dead end, he glanced around and noticed the string of Buddhist prayer beads in Ding Yuan's right hand. It was a string of Buddhist prayer beads made of small red sandalwood. The surface of the Buddhist prayer beads was smooth and round, giving off a spiritual glow. Under the illumination of the lamps in the room, the Buddhist prayer beads reflected a faint light, looking exceptionally bright. Xiao Chen's heart skipped a beat. After a long time, the wooden Buddhist prayer beads would turn from purple to black. This was unavoidable. Unless a true devotee of Buddhism played with them every day and wiped away the dirt, the Buddhist prayer beads would remain bright for a long time. Only then would the Buddhist prayer beads remain bright for a long time, preventing the golden stars on the Buddhist prayer beads from being covered by the dirt. Xiao Chen revealed a smile. He knew how to resolve the problem of trust. Chapter 1629. Xiao Chen took a sip of tea and put down the teacup. Then, he looked at Ding Yuan and asked, "Chief Manager Ding, are you a member of the Buddhist sect?" "Not really. When I was young, I spent some time in a Buddhist sect. Now that I have returned to the secular world, I am just a businessman." Ding Yuan's tone was calm, not showing much fluctuation in his emotions. However, Xiao Chen did not care. For Ding Yuan to be able to cultivate to the late-stage major primal core realm in that Buddhist sect, he must have lived there for a long time. Furthermore, his comprehension ability was very deep. Not just anyone could reach the late-stage major primal core realm. Xiaoqin said, although you have returned to the secular world, I believe that Chief Manager Ding still has Buddha in your heart. Your heart toward Buddha has never changed. A light flashed in Ding Yuan's eyes as he smiled without showing it. Why do you say that? Just based on the string of Buddhist prayer beads in Chief Manager Ding's hand, if not for his firm heart toward Buddha, how could he wipe it every night, sweeping away the dirt and dirt? Your observation skills are pretty good. I was already used to wiping the Buddhist prayer beads every night when I was young. However, what exactly are you trying to say by telling me all this? There's no need to beat around the bush. Just say it directly. Ding Yuan also put down his teacup and looked at Xiaoqin, gesturing for him to speak. Xiaoqin said with a serious expression, the problem of trust that Chief Manager Ding mentioned is indeed a difficult one. I have met you no more than 3 times. You should not have a reason to trust me. Ding Yuan nodded. That's right. I cannot possibly take risks for someone I have only met a few times. If you go to the Blessed Land and steal secret manuals and do something disrespectful, I will definitely die. In that case, I'll tell Chief Manager Ding now. You can rest assured. Xiaoqin removed the Buddhist pendant on his chest. With a thought, the black lotus mark on his chest appeared. The black lotus flowers formed a complicated Buddhist seal. Ding Yuan's expression changed slightly as he muttered, the Black Lotus Church's Black Lotus Holy Seal. Pu Ci. The moment the Black Lotus mark appeared, Xiaoqin quickly made it disappear. Then, he put on the Buddhist pendant and suppressed it again. It looks like Chief Manager Ding recognizes this seal. Ding Yuan showed a grave expression. As he looked at Xiaoqin, some doubt flashed in his eyes. Naturally, I recognize the Black Lotus Holy Mark. The person who planted the Black Lotus Holy Mark will not be able to escape the pursuit of the Black Lotus Church. However, why are you being chased by the Black Lotus Church? Who did you offend? Xiaoqin said indifferently, you don't have to worry about this. I entered the Blessed Land because there are seniors there who can protect me and help me escape the pursuit of the Black Lotus Church. With this Black Lotus seal, Steward Ding should be able to trust me. I will never do anything that will implicate Steward Ding. Ding Yuan's eyes flickered as he said in a deep voice, all right, I'll believe you for the time being. But you have to tell me what you can pay me. Give what? Xiaoqin definitely could not give him the golden life juice source. The temptation was too great. The other party would definitely take the risk out of desperation, directly killing him and searching his body. Xiaoqin was already targeted by a gray-clad late-stage major primal core old man. He did not want to be targeted by this Ding Yuan as well. However, the silver life juice source did not seem to be enough to tempt the other party. If you want to tempt me, you will need to take out 1 million medial-grade spirit jades or natural treasures or profound tools of equal value, Ding Yuan said unhurriedly. Ding Yuan said unhurriedly. His appetite was very big. Right now, Xiaoqin only had 1 million medial-grade spirit jades at the very most. How could he give it all to Ding Yuan? Fortunately, Xiaoqin had already thought of how to deal with this. Xiaoqin said indifferently, I'll give you a promise. Ha ha ha. What a joke. What is the point of your promise? Whoosh. Right after Xiaoqin spoke, his eyes released a golden light, and the great desolate divine eyes instantly appeared. A fear that reached the depths of the soul spread out in Ding Yuan's mind. He felt immense pressure. Boom. The string of Buddhist prayer beads in Ding Yuan's hand gave off a bright light. At the crucial moment, a wall of light filled with scriptures appeared, blocking Xiaoqin's vision. Ding Yuan gently pushed back, moving back several meters along with the stool he was sitting on, putting some distance between him and Xiaoqin. Now, Ding Yuan had already taken out the Buddhist prayer beads in his hand and dangled them in his palm. Then, he slowly moved the beads with his thumb. His body emitted layers of faint Buddhist might, enveloping the entire room in layers of Buddhist might. After a while, the wall of light vanished, and Xiaoqin's great desolate divine eyes vanished as well. However, Ding Yuan had already put some distance between him and Xiaoqin, no longer getting so close. In that instant earlier, Ding Yuan had already felt a threat to his life. Even if the other party's great desolate Ian bloodline was not in the top 100, it was not far from it. Otherwise, how could the other party release such a piercing great desolate divine eyes? In that instant, he almost lost control of his soul. I really misjudged you. What kind of great desolate Ian bloodline do you have? Ding Yuan asked. Right now, the dragon race only had 6 bloodlines. The blue dragon bloodline had been eliminated long ago. Hence, Ding Yuan did not know what kind of bloodline Xiao Qin had. Ding Yuan vaguely felt that it was similar to the dragon race bloodline. However, none of the 6 bloodlines of the dragon race resembled Xiao Qian's bloodline. Xiao Qin said calmly, everyone has their own secrets. Sorry, Chief Manager Ding. Ding Yuan felt slightly stunned. Then, he smiled and said, that's true. This is your secret, so I won't ask too much. Good. In that case, I'll accept your promise. I hope you won't disappoint me. The divine eyes opened, and the bloodline appeared. Xiao Qin used the blue dragon bloodline to prove his value and potential. Ding Yuan thought about it for a while before accepting Xiao Qian's condition. If Xiao Qin fell in the future, this condition would be worthless. However, if Xiao Qin became a Cloud Sea powerhouse or even higher, the value of this promise would be immeasurable. The value of this promise was immeasurable. It was the nature of merchants to take risks and gamble. This was especially so for Ding Yuan. Ding Yuan did not hesitate at all, agreeing to Xiao Qian's condition. Go back first and wait for my news. After I get through all my connections, I will send someone to inform you. Xiao Qin stood up and said, in that case, many thanks. This is my first visit. This is just a small token of my appreciation. Leaving behind a jade bottle containing the silver life juice source, Xiao Qin performed a cupped fist salute and left. After Xiao Qin left, Ding Yuan opened the bottle cap and saw what was inside. Ding Yuan revealed a smile on his face, feeling even more confident about Xiao Qian's future. The last bit of doubt in Ding Yuan's heart vanished. Men. Contact the profound cloud sex elder Lu. Ding Yuan immediately took action. In the following days, the various preparations continued in an orderly fashion. The Black Cutlass's repairs and improvements were nearly complete. After Luo Nan and Fei Er learned that they did not have to worry about not being able to enter the Blessed Land, they started to deal with the problems that might occur along the route. He started to deal with the possible problems that might occur on the flight route, sitting and making predictions in advance. Under Master Jin's command, Xiao Sua led the crew to help modify and upgrade the Black Cutlass. Without needing to worry about the various miscellaneous matters, Xiao Qin continued to stabilize his cultivation. He digested the various benefits that the life juice source brought him. Vaguely, he felt that he had already touched the bottleneck of the primal core realm. In Xiao Qian's dantian, his yang essence energy and yin essence energy mixed with his veritable essence energy, forming a perfect taiji diagram. That lifelike taiji diagram was like a picturesque ink painting. It formed an unbreakable balance between the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy and the heavenly yang pill, two kinds of incredibly berserk and horrifying energies. In the past, when those disciples consumed the heavenly yang pill, their bodies would definitely not explode and die. The yin and yang energies in Xiao Qian's body were even more perfectly balanced than those of primal core cultivators. There was no need to worry about yin and yang losing balance, chaotic energy, or an explosion. The most important thing was that Xiao Qian's physical body had been continuously cleansed by the life juice source. His physique was already as strong as a major primal core venerates. Even if Xiao Qian exploded, his bones would not shatter and he would not die on the spot. At most, he would faint and be severely injured. In the blink of an eye, Xiao Qin stayed in this pirate hall for a month. After the Black Cutlass was completely remodeled, Xiao Qin thanked Master Jin. Then, he got his brothers, who had been busy for a long time, to go and rest first. Xiao Qin went alone to the most mysterious room on the second floor of the Black Cutlass. A strange formation plate floated quietly in the center of the sinister immemorial demon soul formation filled with evil chi. Xiaoqin discovered that 1.5 pearls around the neck of the great desolate Aeon ferocious beast, the Yazi beast, were already lit up. The difficulty of lighting up the pearls was even greater than Xiaoqin had imagined. The cold steel eagles fed on the blood of ferocious beasts every day were still unable to satiate their appetite. The main reason was that the Yazi beast's appetite had become increasingly picky. After lighting up one pearl, a minor primal core ferocious beast was of little use. Even now, the pearls were useless. Only major primal core ferocious beasts could continue to light up the pearls. After leaving the pirate hall, Xiaoqin would meet the grey-clad old man from the beast-governing sect. While he did not fear this, Xiaoqin did not want anything unexpected to happen. He needed to ensure that nothing went wrong and that everything was under his control. Taking out a small knife, Xiaoqin made a small cut on his palm. A drop of blood slowly fell below the formation. Before the blood landed in the formation, the entire immemorial demon soul formation started moving restlessly. A scarlet light spread out, and evil chi filled the air. An illusory Yazi beast demon soul appeared in the blood mist. When it saw the blood falling, it smiled sinisterly, and a sinister look flashed in its eyes. Chapter 1630. Pu Ci. When that drop of blood landed in the immemorial demon soul formation, a dense scarlet light spread throughout the entire compartment. Excited roars came from within the formation, and they kept on making strange noises. Before Xiaoqin could adapt to this environment, he saw a shadow come out of the scarlet light, opening its huge mouth and biting at him. Intense pain came from the depths of his soul. Xiaoqin held his forehead as he took a big step back. He felt like his soul energy had been bitten. As he looked at this immemorial demon soul formation, he could not help feeling horrified. What an evil formation, Xiaoqin thought to himself. Fortunately, I expected it. I only used 1 drop of blood. Otherwise, who knows what the consequences would be. Whoosh! When all the scarlet light was absorbed into the formation, Xiaoqin could clearly see 2 scarlet pearls lit up at the core of the formation plate. Before lighting up the pearls, the Yazi beast demon soul was already as strong as an early-stage major primal core cultivator. Now, it should be as strong as a peak major primal core cultivator. Xiaoqin thought for a while. Given this, he would be absolutely safe when dealing with that grey-clad old man from the beast-governing sect. After all, that was a rank 3 sect elder. Who knew what trump cards he had? It was best to be safe. After leaving the compartment, Xiaoqin discovered that Xiao Sua was still on the deck, not having left yet. Xiao Sua, you have been busy for a month. Why are you not resting? Xiaoqin asked out of curiosity. During the past month, Xiao Sua had led the crew to work day and night. That was how they managed to upgrade the Black Cutlass to a 4-star pirate ship in an extremely short time. Xiao Sua smiled and said, "Hee hee. I'm not tired. Looking at the treasures on the ship, I feel excited. Furthermore, with my current physique, this bit of fatigue is nothing. Captain, take a look. This is a modified 4-star ballista. Captain, although you said that you didn't want any attack power, although Captain said that you do not need any offensive power, Grandmaster Jean is very kind. These are the best of a regular 4-star pirate ship. 1 ballista bolt can easily pierce through a major primal core venerate's veritable essence energy shield. However, we have to use specially made ballista bolts. Of course, ordinary ballista bolts are quite powerful as well." Xiao Sua pointed at the 16 ballista towers above the cabin and introduced them to Xiaoqin. At first, Xiaoqin did not pay much attention to it, but after a while, he felt a little shocked. There were 16 ballista towers, and each tower had 4 top-grade 4-star ballistae, for a total of 64 ballistae. 64 peak 4-star ballistae fired in the same direction at the same time. Caught off guard, the sky was filled with deadly ballista bolts. That scene was truly unimaginable. Even Xiaoqin himself felt a little scared. At the very least, he didn't dare to force his way in. Then, he pulled Xiao Chen over and pointed to the sides of the black cutlass. There are 18 cannons on each of the two sides. They are all 4-star Neptune's Rage ancient demonic energy cannons. Xiao Chen knew about the Neptune's Rage. It was a demonic energy cannon specially made by a Grandmaster blacksmith of the Pirate Alliance. There were a total of 9 levels, corresponding to the 9 stars of pirate ships. Each level was further divided into low, standard, and top. These were the ancient demonic energy cannons that inspired fear in people. The name Neptune's Rage lived up to its name. It had to be said that the Pirate Alliance did indeed have a group of geniuses and strange people. They were simply too incredible. No wonder the Pirate Alliance could survive for so long, with no one daring to target it. The things that the Pirate Alliance revealed were already so incredible. Just how powerful were the treasures that only the Pirate Alliance kept? This was simply unimaginable. Hee hee. Captain, even a 4-star captain would find it very difficult to buy these. Grandmaster Jean is really generous. He is also an honest person and does not like owing favors to others. When mentioning Grandmaster Jean, Xiao Sua was full of praise. Xiao Chen also felt surprised. It looked like he had not given the wrong person that bottle of golden life juice source. Grandmaster Jean even helped us strengthen the Dark Knight Bewildering formation, directly dismantling the defensive formation and rearranging it into a 4-star one. In addition, he also helped us add an explosive acceleration formation. When Xiao Chen heard that, he rejoiced. Grandmaster Jean simply understood him too well. That's right. You have said so much. How many spirit jades do you have left that I gave you? Xiao Sua had sought out Xiao Chen several times for spirit jades because he needed to remodel the pirate ship. Later, Xiao Chen found it troublesome, so he used the natural treasures that Senior Jiao Snake left to exchange for the spirit jades, as well as his own wealth, to Xiao Sua. Xiao Chen did not keep account, but when added up, there should be at least 1 or 2 million medial-grade spirit jades. That was about 200 million medial-grade spirit jades. The spirit herbs that could catch the eye of Senior Jiao Snake were at least 3,000 years old. That batch of treasures was extremely valuable. Upon hearing this question, Xiao Sua smiled and said, "That's all." What? That's all? Xiao Chen was startled when he heard that. How could 200 million medial-grade spirit jades be gone just like that? After all, at the Purple Sun City's auction, Xiao Chen could sweep through everyone with just 100,000 medial-grade spirit jades, pressuring others to the point that they could not breathe. It was enough to see that it was a huge amount of wealth. Now, he had become a pauper again. Xiao Sua smiled embarrassedly and said, "It's really gone." Originally, there were still some left. However, the various formations of the pirate ship require spirit jades to activate. I also need to have enough spare spirit jades, so, they're all gone. Seeing that Xiao Chen's expression was still not good, Xiao Sua thought for a while and said, "How about I go to the nodes of the formation and dig them out? I should be able to dig some out." Xiao Chen narrowed his eyes and said with a smile, "Good idea. Go ahead and dig them out, one by one." Seeing Xiao Chen laugh, Xiao Sua also laughed. "Captain, I'm just joking. Don't worry, you won't lose anything, Captain. Right now, the black cutlass looks ordinary. However, once it bared its fangs, the black cutlass would be extremely powerful. Even a peak 4-star pirate ship could easily crush an ordinary 4-star pirate ship. Ordinary 5-star pirate ships would have to think twice before attacking us." Xiao Chen wasn't really angry. He just liked the feeling of being rich and imposing. Now that he was penniless, it was hard for him to not get used to it. However, Xiao Chen's mental state was good. He quickly accepted it and could deal with it calmly. Xiao Chen had experienced many ups and downs in the Kunlun realm. His cultivation had once regressed, leaving him with nothing. Even if it was the worst result, how bad could it be for Xiao Chen? "Captain, when are we setting out to sea?" Xiao Sua asked somewhat impatiently. Xiao Sua was already armed to the teeth. He could no longer remain idle. Wait a little longer. These words made Xiao Chen frown somewhat worriedly. The West Wind Tower's Ding Yuan still had not sent any news. This was not good news. After waiting for another 7 days, just as Xiao Chen's patience was about to run out, Ding Yuan finally informed him to go to the West Wind Tower. Brother Xiao Chen, sorry for making you wait for too long, Ding Yuan said to Xiao Chen with a smile on his face as he brewed tea. Xiao Chen immediately calmed down. Based on Chief Manager Ding's appearance, the matter should be settled. Yes. The Blessed Land is open to the public only once every 3 years and accepts disciples. The last time it was open to the public was not long ago. Originally, you should have to wait another 3 years before you can enter the Blessed Land. Xiao Chen continued, however, Chief Manager Ding already found a way for this little fellow to enter midway. That's right. I used a lot of connections to help you obtain a recommendation letter. With the recommendation letter, you can enter the Blessed Land and choose which sect you want to join. Of course, there is a test. However, given little brother Xiao Chen's strength, the test should not be a problem. As he spoke, Ding Yuan passed a recommendation letter over to Zhang Xian. Xiao Chen casually received it. This was just an ordinary recommendation letter. The contents were also very ordinary. However, the words gave Xiao Chen a sense of pressure, nearly causing him to stumble. Every word contained a pressure that came from the soul. The strokes were very forceful, showing off their sharpness and a boundless aura. Xiao Chen found it somewhat unbearable. After taking a look, he quickly closed the letter. This is personally written by a Cloud Sea powerhouse. Xiao Chen looked at Ding Yuan in shock. Ding Yuan nodded and said, the Cloud Sea realm is an unfathomable realm. With one thought, they can injure others. With one word, they can suppress a major primal core venerate. As Xiao Chen held this heavy recommendation letter, he knew that the matter was settled. He performed a cup-fist salute and said, many thanks, Chief Manager Ding. Ding Yuan smiled casually and said, there's no need to thank me. I'm just a businessman. Remember, you owe me a promise. For some reason, every time Xiao Chen heard Ding Yuan say that he was a businessman, he felt strange. Perhaps the other party was not as simple as Xiao Chen made him out to be. At the very least, this recommendation letter was not simple. I will engrave it in my heart and not forget it. We will meet again. Chapter 1631. After leaving the West Wind Tower, Xiao Chen gathered all the members of the Black Cutlass pirate group. Tomorrow, we will leave the pirate hall. This place was just a relay station on his way to the Blessed Lands. Originally, he should have left long ago. Now that everything was ready, especially with the most important recommendation letter, it was time to depart. Great. I can't wait any longer. Captain, where are we going? One of the 3 blessed lands of the Grave Sea, the Black Cave Mountain. Feier said after some thought, if we depart tomorrow, doesn't that mean we are leaving together with the outstanding talents of those 2 blessed lands? Ling Yu and Jiang Xian fought 7 matches in a row. Each match ended in a draw. Every match was very exciting, causing a huge commotion in the entire pirate hall. Because of these 2, countless experts came to watch the many palaces of the pirate city. One could say that the popularity of the entire pirate hall reached its peak because of these 2. 3 days ago, the 2 had agreed to come back and compete again 1 year later. That was also tomorrow. Xiao Chen said indifferently, it does not have much to do with us. There is no need to bother about it. Early the next morning, the entrance of the pirate hall was packed with people. The people who came to send Jiang Xian and Ling Yu off surrounded them. As the 2 looked at the large group of people sending them off, they were in high spirits, their faces filled with smiles. This was the so-called proud sons of heaven, achieving success at a young age. Brother Jiang and I appreciate each other. It can be said that no discord, no concord. Everyone, don't worry. We will definitely meet again next year. Ling Yu performed a cup-fist salute in all directions. Jiang Xian also revealed a smile as he said softly, let's part here. Everyone, there is no need to send us off. This is a true outstanding talent, a young hero. Their future is limitless. It's a blessing to be able to witness so many exciting battles in my lifetime." As the crowd watched the two turn around, they did not shift their gazes away. Clearly, Jiang Xian and Ling Yu, two outstanding talents with great desolate Yan bloodlines, shocked these people greatly, inspiring respect from the bottom of their hearts. Not far away, at the mouth of the sea below the entrance of the pirate hall, an inconspicuous pirate ship was sailing with its sails raised. On the highest observation deck of the cabin stood a white figure, facing the first ray of dawn as he sailed towards the vast sea. His body exuded a tranquil aura. It was as if he had isolated the world from all the hustle and bustle, becoming one with the world. Jiang Xian and Ling Yu walked on the road, chatting and laughing as they chatted about some things. Suddenly, Jiang Xian's gaze caught a glimpse of Xiao Chen, who was standing in the wind on the black cutlass. Her gaze paused for a moment before she softly said, "It's him." Jiang Xian looked at her curiously. "What's wrong? Is this the person you mentioned to me, the white-clad youth with the great desolate Yan bloodline who wants to curry favor with you?" Ling Yu nodded. "Yes. However, his cultivation is not high, and he is older than you and me. I don't belong to any sect, and I'm all alone. How is it worth making friends with? I refuse." Jiang Xian smiled and said, "Brother Ling, you can't compare everyone to us. That's unfair to them. Among ordinary people, they are already dazzling enough to be proud of." "That's true." "Ha! It's my fault." The hustle and bustle slowly died down. Before the eyes of the entire city, Jiang Xian and Ling Yu left in high spirits. In a direction that no one was paying attention to, that pirate ship also drifted further and further away. However, many years later, when everyone discussed this matter, they only remembered that they brushed shoulders with the Dragon Emperor Xiao Chen and regretted it for life. They could not remember the geniuses from the two blessed lands at all. The instant the black cutlass left the pirate hall's perimeter, a grey-clad old man leading two late-stage major primal core venerates stood on a huge tortoise beast, revealing a cold smile. This grey-clad old man was none other than the beast-governing sex elder. The temptation of the highest quality life juice source was simply too great. In the past month, the grey-clad old man had used all the strength he could, setting up various spots around the pirate hall. As long as Xiao Chen appeared, he would immediately be discovered. "Brat, I thought that you would hide in there forever." "After him." The grey-clad old man shouted coldly, and the tortoise beast under his feet chased after Xiao Chen's pirate ship at lightning speed. The strange speed did not match the tortoise beast's huge body. "Captain, that old bastard indeed did not leave. He is standing on a small tortoise beast and is giving chase. Should we shake them off?" Melancholy curses came from the control room. Up on the lookout tower, Xiao Chen sat calmly on the cycle throne. He said calmly, "That tortoise beast is not simple. It will not be easy to shake them off. Find a desolate sea region and deal with them." "Yes, Captain." "Little friend Whiteclad, we meet again." The tortoise beast gradually closed the distance between them. The grey-clad old man revealed a smile as he felt that victory was in his grasp. Xiao Chen said indifferently, "Indeed. However, this time, it is not a coincidence." "Humph. Cut the crap. Hand over the life juice source, and I will spare you from death. I will also write off the matter of you killing two of my beast-governing sex cold steel eagles. This is my bottom line. Think about it yourself." The grey-clad old man exuded the strong aura of a late-stage major primal core cultivator. His voice was deafening like thunder. An incomparably berserk and terrifying storm kicked up on the surface of the sea. The sky immediately turned gloomy and overcast. What a strong aura! Feeling the old man's aura, the crew of the Black Cutlass were all startled, sucking in a breath of cold air. Just his aura alone could kick up such a huge storm. This grey-clad old man was indeed incredible. However, To the gray-clad old man's surprise, the not-so-huge black cutlass sailed steadily amid the strong wind and waves, not shaking at all. This pirate ship is somewhat unusual. The two major primal core venerates behind were flabbergasted, viewing the black cutlass in a different light. The gray-clad old man smiled coldly and said, "I thought that after preparing for a month, it would not be very capable. It turns out that they strengthened the pirate ship. I'll deal with this ship. The two of you charge over and kill all the other crew members, aside from the white-clad man." The two early-stage major primal core experts boarded the pirate ship. It would be easy for them to deal with a group of young essence core and minor primal core experts. The gray-clad old man's entire body surged with veritable essence energy, and his body exuded a terrifying aura. Then, he ferociously threw a palm strike. Boom! A huge wave appeared out of nowhere on the surface of the sea. The entire pirate ship was tossed high into the air, and its speed completely slowed. Now! Murderous intent flashed on the faces of the two early-stage major primal core venerates behind the gray-clad old man. They soared into the air, preparing to take the opportunity to snatch the ship. "Captain, two major primal core experts are here," Xiao Suo said somewhat anxiously in the control room. Up on the observation deck, Xiao Chen observed for a while before saying calmly, "All brothers in the tower, heed my orders. Change the 4-star ballistae to the special ballistae and aim them at the old man on the right." Xiao Chen's calm voice rang out, calming all the brothers on the ship. "Yes, Captain." All the crew members in the tower answered in unison. Creak! Creak! The many ballistae in the tower silently changed directions and locked on to the old man charging over from the right. The unremarkable pirate ship in midair landed on the surface of the sea with a loud bang. The two old men finally appeared within range of the 4-star ballistae. However, Xiao Chen did not give any orders. Everyone held their breath and did not act rashly. On the tortoise beast, the gray-clad old man revealed a smile. He could already see a bloody scene. The two major primal core venerates slaughtered everyone on the ship. No one could stop them. Fire! Xiao Chen's order finally came from the observation deck, carrying a chill into the ears of all the brothers in the tower. Whoosh! 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 There were 64 ballistae, each equipped with 8 ballistae. They could fire 4 at a time. Immediately, a rain of ballistae filled the air like venomous snakes, coldly and mercilessly shooting out. The special ballistae were expensive, but they were very effective. Before the old man on the right could even scream, he turned into a hornet's nest. Splash! The old man fell into the seawater, corroded by the starry sea until nothing was left. A living major primal core venerate died on the spot, just like that. The other old man was completely frightened silly. He froze in midair, not daring to believe what just happened. Chapter 1632. How can it be like this? The gray-clad old man on the tortoise beast was startled. He had not expected this at all. Originally, he thought that victory was in the bag, something extremely easy. However, in nearly one breath, an early-stage major primal core venerate died. This was an old friend that the gray-clad old man had known for decades. "Senior Huang, come back. That ship is somewhat strange." The gray-clad old man shouted to the other old man on the other side. Without needing the gray-clad old man to say anything, the other old man had already been frightened into losing his courage long ago. He quickly retreated. In reality, if the gray-clad old man had not retreated, this would have been a great opportunity to board the ship. Under Xiao Chen's command, the 64 ballistae had already emptied their ballista bolts. Reloading the ballistae would take at least 3 seconds, more than enough for the gray-clad old man to charge over. Normally, the commander would prepare 2 rounds of attacks. After the first round, the second round would follow, and the first round would be ready as well. Therefore, the 4-star giant crossbows in the towers could continuously shoot out bolts. However, Xiao Chen took a risk and got the 64 ballistae to fire at the same time. The facts proved that Xiao Chen's gamble paid off. The specially made ballista bolts instantly killed the major primal core venerate on the spot. Indeed, as Xiao Qin expected, the other old man was frightened silly. On the watchtower, Xiao Qin revealed a cold smile. Advance at full speed. Xiao Sua, prepare your best move. Hee hee. Captain, just watch me. On the huge tortoise beast, the gray-clad old man and Senior Huang discussed countermeasures. Suddenly, a huge wave surged in front, and a black pirate ship tore through the waves like a sharp knife. Oh no, they are charging over. Senior Huang showed a startled expression. Clearly, he had not expected Xiao Chen and the others to be so bold. These people were all major primal core cultivators. This was especially so for the gray-clad old man, a peak late-stage major primal core expert. You are seeking death. The gray-clad old man trembled in anger. To think that these people were so bold to be so arrogant. Gurgle. Gurgle. Bubbles appeared in the starry sea. Then, the huge tortoise beast, with only its shell exposed, suddenly floated to the surface. When it completely floated out of the water, it realized that the turtle shell that it revealed was only the tip of the iceberg. The giant tortoise beast that truly appeared on the surface of the water looked as large as a small mountain. Xiao Sua, it's up to you now. Ha ha ha, got it, Captain. Xiao Qin wasn't intimidated by the tortoise beast. Seeing that the tortoise beast was preparing to attack, he decisively chose to make the first move. Xiao. The black cutlass pirate ship spun around on the surface of the sea, moving horizontally. The two elders did not understand what was going on. Kacha, kacha, kacha sounds came from the side of the ship as cannons protruded out like ferocious beasts bearing their fangs. Top 4-star, Neptune's Fury. The gray-robed old man was experienced and knowledgeable. When he saw the 18 turrets, his face turned pale. If Xiao Qin had known that this pirate ship contained so many Neptune's rages, he would not have dared to get so close to the black cutlass. He would definitely go as far as he could, and he would not have any designs on Xiao Qin. Fire, Xiao Qin ordered expressionlessly. The 16-peak 4-star Neptune's rages fired out black ancient demonic energy cannons at the same time. Every black ancient demonic energy cannon spun intensely, containing berserk energy compressed to the limit. After special processing by the Pirate Alliance's refiners, these ancient demonic energy cannons could easily flatten a small mountain. At the crucial moment, the tortoise beast roared, and an overwhelming wave appeared in front of it, forming a thick wall of water. Boom! One ancient demonic energy cannon exploded on the surface of the wall of water. Then, a second, a third, and then 16 all exploded at the same time. It was like the sea god was raging. The sky turned dark, and the huge explosions shook the surrounding 500 kilometers, temporarily deafening everyone. The overwhelming wave instantly evaporated, and a huge energy wave spread out. The gray-robed old man and Senior Huang were immediately knocked back, vomiting a mouthful of blood. With such a huge shockwave, there was no way to dodge. The two immediately got on the tortoise beast and fled frantically. Fire! Xiao Qin said mercilessly with a stern expression. Boom! A deafening sound rang out again. It was like the roar of thunder, frightening everyone and discouraging them from fighting. Without the obstruction of the waves, the might of the Neptune's rages this time was even more ferocious, and its range was even greater. Bang! 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 Every time a cannonball landed on the surface of the sea, it kicked up an overwhelming wave that soared into the clouds. The huge energy explosion flattened the surface of the sea, creating many huge pits. Then, it formed a whirlpool, stirring up overwhelming waves. The sea looked incredibly chaotic. Strong winds howled, tornadoes howled, waves surged, and explosions rang out endlessly. The horrifying scene before them looked like the sea god raging. The gray-robed old man and Senior Huang ran frantically, not caring about anything else. They only wanted to quickly escape the range of the Neptune's rages. Their hearts were filled with incomparable fear. Without the obstruction of the waves, this wave of Neptune's Fury's cannonballs was much stronger than before. The gray-robed old man was still fine, his foundation was not damaged. However, the yellow-robed old man was riddled with wounds. His complexion was pale, and he looked incredibly weak. "Senior Tang, save me." When Senior Huang saw the gray-robed old man getting further and further away, he cried out hoarsely, feeling despair and pain. The gray-robed old man ignored Senior Huang. He was only a few steps away from leaving the range of the Neptune's rages. How could he be so foolish as to return and bring along a burden? "You tricked me!" Senior Huang roared in dissatisfaction. Regret and hatred filled his heart, hating himself for being careless in making friends. "Fire!" Senior Huang's sorrowful roar did not elicit any sympathy from Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen gave the order without any pity. Boom! Amid the sky full of cannonballs, Senior Huang, who could not escape the range of the Neptune's rages, got buried on the spot, not even leaving ashes behind. Whoosh! The shock waves spread out and struck the gray-robed old man, causing him to vomit another mouthful of blood. However, he managed to escape the range of the Neptune's rages. "Damn brat! After we return, I'll get the beast governing sect to kill you." Xiao Chen turned his head back to look. Heavy rain poured down on the raging sea as the waves undulated. A black pirate ship stood on the surging sea like a tyrant. Chi! However, just as the gray-robed old man thought that he had dodged a calamity, two sharp bird cries suddenly came from the front. When the gray-robed old man looked over, his complexion immediately paled in fright. It was the cold steel eagles, two overlords of the sea giving off a cold light. They treated the gray-robed old man as prey, firmly locking onto him. It turned out that Xiao Chen had already anticipated that, given the gray-robed old man's speed, he would not die to the cannonballs. Hence, he got the cold steel eagles to intercept him in advance. Since Xiao Chen shed all pretense of cordiality, he did not think of letting the gray-robed old man leave alive. What made the gray-robed old man despair was that these two cold steel eagles were even stronger than when they were in the beast governing sect. They vaguely seemed to be reaching peak major primal core realm. For a moment, despair involuntarily filled the gray-robed old man's heart. He did not fear these two cold steel eagles, the overlords of the sea. However, the tortoise had suffered 3 rounds of cannon fire and was already crippled. Even so, if the gray-robed old man had not been injured by the cannonballs, he would have been able to barely deal with the two cold steel eagles. However, there were no ifs in this world. The scene of Xiao Chen being chased by the cold steel eagles appeared on the surface of the sea once more. However, this time, the person being chased was someone else. The person being chased was the gray-robed old man from back then. Fate played tricks on people, a cycle of karma. Under the pursuit of the two cold steel eagles, the gray-robed old man was slowly forced back, slowly approaching the black cutlass, which gave him nightmarish memories. The wounds on his body slowly increased. After experiencing the relentless pursuit of the cold steel eagles, Xiao Chen knew very well how terrible this feeling was. The cold steel eagles did not give one any time to catch one's breath or treat one's injuries. The cold steel eagles did not give one any time to catch one's breath or treat one's injuries. They just chased one relentlessly. If one dared to stop, one would die in the next moment. 1 hour later, the two cold steel eagles worked together to carry the gray-robed old man's battered body over. On the watchtower, the white-clad Xiao Chen looked at the gray-robed old man, who was now a prisoner. Then, he said softly, "We meet again." The gray-robed old man felt mentally fatigued. As he looked at Xiao Chen, he coughed a few times and vomited a large mouthful of blood. The gray-robed old man felt extremely dissatisfied. He had never thought that he would appear before Xiao Chen as a prisoner. Chapter 1633. The gray-clad old man had never dreamed that he would end up in Xiao Chen's hands one day. The other party was just a half-step primal core brat. If it were a proper fight, the gray-clad old man would not care about such a minor character. He would be able to casually kill Xiao Chen. His advantage in cultivation allowed him to have nothing to fear. This thought was not wrong. Right now, Xiao Chen was indeed not a match for the gray-clad old man. If the gray-clad old man clashed head-on, he would lose in less than 100 moves. Aside from fleeing, there was no other outcome. However, Xiao Chen had the Black Cutlass, a powerful weapon that rivaled a 5-star pirate ship. When the Black Cutlass revealed its ferocious side, not to mention the gray-clad old man, even a peak major primal core cultivator would die. Furthermore, Xiao Chen had the immemorial demon soul formation and the 2 cold steel eagles. I have been cautious all my life. Unexpectedly, I fell at the hands of a junior like you. The gray-clad old man, who was hung in the air by the 2 cold steel eagles, revealed a bitter and pained smile as he spoke. Right now, as long as Xiao Chen willed it, the 2 cold steel eagles would tear him apart on the spot. Whoosh! Whoosh! The cold steel eagles hovered in the air, flapping their blade-like wings and kicking up strong winds. Xiao Chen's white robes flapped loudly in the strong winds, and his long hair fluttered. There is no need to blame yourself. If it were anyone else, they would not expect me to have a peak 4-star pirate ship. Xiao Chen smiled faintly, not letting anyone know what he wanted to say. The gray-clad old man said sullenly, "Cut the crap. If you want to kill me, then kill me. Don't humiliate me." As an outer sect elder of the beast governing sect, the gray-clad old man had a backbone and did not beg for mercy. Xiao Chen said softly, "If I wanted to kill you, how could I have kept you alive until now?" A light flashed in the gray-clad old man's eyes, and some hope appeared. No one would want to die for no reason. Naturally, one would be tempted to live. What do you want? Xiao Chen showed a grave expression as he looked at the other party. It's very simple. I'll spare your life. As long as you help the pirate ship in peace, I will not kill you. I will also give you the life juice source that you want. That's right. Xiao Chen had taken a fancy to the other party and wanted to continue strengthening his pirate ship. The other party's strength was not low, and he came from a 3rd-grade sect. He was not young either. Xiao Sua and Xiao Chen could not compare to Xiao Sua in terms of experience and knowledge. He was experienced, powerful, and knew how to tame beasts. Having such a person on the pirate ship was undoubtedly a great thing. The gray-robed old man's eyes flickered. It was clear that he was tempted, but there was still some doubt in his heart. What did this kid mean? Daring to ask him to stay on the ship, was he stupid? As long as he recovered from his injuries, seizing the ship would be a piece of cake. Was he really not afraid that she would secretly cause trouble for him? My patience is limited. I don't have much time to waste here. I'll give you 1 second to think. The commotion just now was so big that it had already alarmed the various cultivators. They had to leave as soon as possible. He said he would give him 1 second, and he would give him 1 second. Xiao Chen did not wait for the other party to reply. He turned around and said coldly, "Kill him." "I'm willing." The gray-robed old man felt 2 huge forces pulling at his body. The fear of death immediately spread throughout his entire body. In his desperation, he roared at his fastest speed. Bang! The 2 cold steel eagles tossed the gray-robed old man heavily onto the deck. Xiao Chen revealed a satisfied smile as he walked down step by step. Then, he clapped his hands and said, "Welcome, the new member of our Black Cutlass, the beast governing sex Elder Tang." "Welcome, welcome," a group of crew members said with a smile as they walked out. Clearly, being able to capture a rank 3 sex elder was something that gave them a high sense of accomplishment. "Get that tortoise of yours to follow us. After we leave this sea region, I'll send someone to treat it," Xiao Chen instructed calmly. Living under someone else's roof, the gray-robed old man had no choice but to lower his head. The gray-robed old man formed hand seals and moved his lips, forming some special syllables. Below the starry sea, the tortoise beast, which had been struck by the Neptune's rage several times, slowly swam over. "Captain, we found the storage rings of those 2 venerates. They should be able to make up for some of our losses." Xiao Sua said excitedly as he leaped out of the sea and landed on the deck. A thief never leaves empty-handed. It was really hard to change one's nature. However, the storage rings of 2 major primal core venerates were indeed very valuable. Let's go. After everything was ready, the Black Cutlass quickly turned around and left this place. The earlier battle had been very mighty. The 3 Neptune's rages bombarded this sea region, making it look like a huge storm raged. This would inevitably attract the attention of cultivators from other places. What a horrifying ancient demonic energy cannon. It should be the Neptune's rage. Based on the lingering auras, 2 major primal core venerates died. They are really seeking death. Where did these reckless venerates come from? To think that they even dare to offend a pirate ship equipped with the Neptune's rage. Who knows? There is no lack of people who do not care about their lives these days. Many of the experienced grave sea cultivators deduced the situation and did not dare to linger. Not every 4-star pirate ship in the grave sea could be equipped with the Neptune's rage. That required extremely high authority and sufficient contributions within the pirate alliance. Furthermore, it was very expensive. Just one of them would cost a lot. No one dared to offend a pirate ship equipped with the Neptune's rage. This was common sense. However, at this moment, the culprit of all this had reverted to an ordinary appearance, swimming freely in the starry sea. Everyone on the ship was in a good mood. This was the first big battle since the Black Cutlass arrived in the Grave Sea. The victory was simpler than expected. Every crew member felt a strong sense of belonging to the Black Cutlass. In the captain's quarters, the beast governing sex elder Tang, who had already changed his clothes, looked much more spirited. He faced Xiao Chen with a silver jade bottle in the middle of the table. This bottle contained the highest quality life juice source. Greed flashed in Elder Tang's eyes. Occasionally, he glanced at Xiao Chen, waiting for the other party to speak. I'm a man of my word. Since Elder Tang is willing to stay on the Black Cutlass, I naturally cannot be stingy. Take it, then. Xiao Chen extended his hand and gestured for Elder Tang to take it. Elder Tang's face lit up in joy. Unexpectedly, Xiao Chen was so straightforward. He had been stuck at the late-stage major primal core realm for many years and could not break through to the peak. In the end, Xiao Chen could not break through to the peak. This golden life juice source held a fatal attraction for him. Many thanks. Elder Tang stretched out his hand and took the jade bottle, feeling somewhat excited. In that case, there is nothing else. I'll go and rest first. After I recover, this old man will definitely do his best to assist young Master Xiao. Elder Tang smiled and stood up, preparing to leave. Xiao Chen glanced over and smiled. After you recover, you will do your best to assist me? Elder Tang, do you really think that I'm a fool? Ah. Elder Tang feigned ignorance, indicating that he did not understand what Xiao Chen meant. I want to leave a restriction in your body. What do you think, Elder Tang? Xiao Chen asked probingly. The smile on the beast governing sex Elder Tang's face immediately froze. However, he quickly replied, of course, of course. While Elder Tang readily agreed, he smiled coldly in his heart. I just knew that this brat would make this trip. However, you are still too inexperienced to play with me. A rank 3 sect has a long inheritance. What kind of restriction can you, a half-step primal core cultivator, leave behind to trap me? Elder Tang ordered in his heart as a sharp and stern gaze looked at him. He knew that Xiao Chen was hinting for him to give up all resistance. Since Elder Tang was confident, he did not overthink and let go of his consciousness. Dragon Blood Soul-Breaking Finger. Xiao Chen extended a finger at lightning speed and tapped Elder Tang's forehead. The Soul Dao energy mixed with the blue dragon's blood turned into a spot of red light. Then, like a bolt of lightning, it entered Elder Tang's sea of consciousness. Before Elder Tang, who had given up on resisting, could react, this extremely destructive Soul Dao energy entered the depths of his soul at lightning speed. Elder Tang's heart sank. He felt like his soul was about to leave his body, disintegrated by this external energy. Elder Tang immediately paled in fright as he quickly resisted. Whoosh! Just as the soul-breaking finger's energy in the depths of Elder Tang's soul was about to erupt, Xiaochen quickly withdrew his hand and stopped. Elder Tang fell to the ground, rubbing his forehead. As he looked at Xiaochen, he revealed a horrified expression. He felt that there was a vague red light in the depths of his soul. It was like a time bomb had been placed there. Xiaochen smiled and said, "That was close. This is my first time using the soul-breaking finger to leave a restriction on someone. Luckily, my bloodline power has improved recently, so I didn't fail. Rest well. Elder Tang, don't overthink. It's over. It's over. It's all over." This was a soul Dao restriction. Only when Elder Tang advanced to the Cloud Sea realm would he have a chance of breaking free from Xiaochen's control. Elder Tang showed a sullen expression as he pointed at Xiaochen and shouted angrily, "Junior, you tricked me." Xiaochen smiled calmly and said, "Let it go. You and I were scheming against each other in the first place. It was just a matter of whose means were better. In the future, the Black Scimitar will have to rely on you." That was right. No one was a fool. However, no matter what, the one laughing in the end was still Xiaochen. Chapter 1634. 3 days later, not long after Xiaochen left, a black ship silently arrived before the pirate hall where Xiaochen had stayed. Holy Sun, the sect venerates aura came from that pirate hall. A group of black-clad arhats stood on the deck, respectfully looking at the Black Lotus sect Holy Sun Mingxian. The Black Lotus sect Holy Sun wore white monk robes, giving off an extraordinary air and looking as graceful as before. Pirate Hall. They should be here to resupply or repair their ship. In that case, they must have stayed here for more than 1 or 2 days. They should have left behind many clues. The Holy Sun Mingxian revealed a serene smile as he analyzed calmly, "The range has shrunk significantly. Come, follow me in." In the captain's quarters of the Black Cutlass pirate ship, Xiaochen's heart pounded. The Black Lotus mark on his chest pulsed, giving off waves of heat. Fortunately, the Buddhist pendant firmly suppressed it. The Black Lotus mark did not give off any aura at all. However, it still made Xiaochen very nervous. After thinking for a while, Xiaochen knew where he had let the cat out of the bag. Back then, for the sake of convincing the West Wind Pavilion's Ding Yuan, Xiaochen had taken the initiative to release the Black Lotus mark. It should have been at that time that he exposed himself, and the other party sensed him. Right now, the Black Lotus Church should have sent people to the pirate hall to scout for information. Xiaochen had stayed there for more than a month. Although he was cautious, it would be hard to avoid finding some clues if he investigated carefully. Fortunately, he already had a recommendation letter. As long as he entered the Blessed Land, he would be safe for now. No matter how strong the Black Lotus Church was, no matter how bold they were, they would not dare to charge into the Blessed Land. With this thought, Xiaochen calmed down slightly and resumed his cultivation. Actually, the main reason was that the Black Lotus Church's pursuit was somewhat incomprehensible to him. There was no point in thinking too much. He might as well cultivate more. If Xiaochen always showed a worried expression, it would delay his cultivation and leave behind a mental barrier. As Xiaochen started circulating the Purple Thunder Divine Incantation's 9th layer, the Taiji diagram in his dantian started spinning slowly. With veritable essence energy as the foundation and yang essence energy and yin essence energy as support, every time the Taiji diagram spun, Xiaochen felt comfortable. In the diagram, the yin and yang fish were actually the yang essence core and the yin essence core. The two chased each other, but could never touch each other. Veritable essence was everywhere in the Taiji diagram, containing the power of yin essence and yang essence. Hua! In the captain's cabin, as Xiaochen entered a state of cultivation, a Taiji diagram appeared on the ground at the same time. Light shadows danced about and flickered incessantly. It was incomparably profound. Xiaochen seemed to have merged with heaven and earth. The Taiji diagram formed by veritable essence energy, yang essence energy, and yin essence energy in Xiao Chen's dantian spun increasingly slower. Eventually, it became hard to see with the naked eye. Xiao Chen, on the other hand, had long forgotten all of this. He seemed to have been completely immersed in this space. You'll find the captain's cabin empty, devoid of life. However, when he opened the door, he could clearly see that Xiao Chen was sitting there with his eyes closed. Unity of heaven and man. This was the unity of heaven and man. Although Xiao Chen had not completely entered the primal core realm, Xiao Chen was able to achieve this. After the purple thunder divine incantation circulated 180 minor cycles, Xiao Chen suddenly opened his eyes. He felt that he was one step closer to the primal core realm. After reaching the primal core realm, veritable essence energy, yin essence energy, and yang essence energy would merge into one, forming a primal core. According to rumor, the stronger one's accumulations, the higher the quality of the primal core formed. The highest one could form a 9-star primal core, with a limitless future. After refining the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy and the heavenly yang pill, Xiao Chen was filled with anticipation. He wanted to know how many stars of primal core he could form. Once his primal core formed, his strength would increase explosively. The horrifying accumulations he accumulated in the veritable personage realm would be unleashed at an astonishing speed, reaching an incredible level. At that time, he could refine the heavenly flame and combine it with the heavenly snow divine flame to form the Taiji primal chaos flame diagram. Then, it would become Xiao Chen's strongest trump card. Only then would Xiao Chen truly be able to protect himself when facing the Black Lotus Church. Right now, although the Black Cutlass pirate ship was strong, it was an external object in the end, not Xiao Chen's own strength. Collecting his thoughts, Xiao Chen took out some scraps of paper and pieced them together. Each piece of paper had only 1 or 2 words. They were just some simple words. After he finished piecing them together, they became connected words. The contents of the words were the talisman characters carved in the Scarlet Blood War banner, translated by Great Master Gu Wen. Xiao Sua had tidied up these things and handed them to Xiao Chen long ago. Whenever he had time, Xiao Chen would ponder over them. My name is Scarlet Blood. I have a body of scarlet iron, burning blood. For half my life, I drifted from place to place, wandering from place to place. For half my life, I was unrivaled, moving about without fear. My body is like a sword, filled with unyielding pride. My heart is like the sun and moon, shining brightly for 10,000 years. My body is like a mountain, spanning 5,000 kilometers. My eyes are like the many stars, making the sky shine like there is no night. I cover the sky with one hand and proclaim myself emperor with the other. Xiao Chen muttered to himself. He could not understand the words that he had pieced together. Without a doubt, the legendary pirate, the Scarlet Blood Pirate King, had hidden the location of his treasures in this paragraph of words. However, no matter how Xiao Chen looked at it, this paragraph of words was the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's introduction of himself, as well as some bragging. That could not be said. If Xiao Chen described himself like that, he would be exaggerating. However, the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's description of himself was the truth, because he was a legend in the first place. It was divided into 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph could be seen as a simple introduction to himself. Scarlet Iron Body, Burning Blood, explaining the origins of the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's title. For half my life, I drifted from place to place. The first half of my life was not very good. I wandered around, experiencing many ups and downs. I was unrivaled in the first half of my life, moving about without fear. In the second half of my life, I rose up. No one could rival me in the vast world. I moved about the great 1,000 realms without fear. The crucial part was the last sentence. My body is like a sword, filled with unyielding pride. My heart is like the sun and moon, shining brightly for 10,000 years. My body is like a mountain, spanning 5,000 kilometers. My eyes are like the many stars, making the sky shine like there is no night. I cover the sky with one hand and proclaim myself emperor with the other. Body, heart, body, eyes, and hands. Each paragraph described a part of his body. However, what did it mean? Xiao Qin could not understand. He simply could not understand. Xiao Qin entered deep thought. Suddenly, he thought of something. Then, he said to the outside, "Get Elder Tang to come over." "Yes, Captain." A respectful reply came from outside. Immediately, a crewman went to invite the beast governing sex Elder Tang. It would be too much of a waste not to make use of such an experienced person. Compared to 3 days ago, Elder Tang was much more spirited. It could even be said that he looked brand new. His aura was also vaguely stronger. As Elder Tang walked over slowly, his aura was withdrawn. He was as heavy as a mountain, giving off intense pressure. Even Xiao Qin was startled in his heart. This Elder Tang was indeed very strong. Xiao Qin had won the previous time by luck. He had used the 16 Neptune's rages and the 2 cold steel eagles, which had improved in strength, to fight against Elder Tang. However, no matter how strong Elder Tang was, he had to listen to Xiao Qin now. With a thought, the dragon blood mark in the depths of Xiao Qin's soul could turn him into a masterless body. It looks like Elder Tang has already started refining the life juice source. The effects are pretty good, Xiao Qin said softly with a faint smile. Elder Tang did not show much joy. He said indifferently, "It's still all right." "Captain, why did you call this old man over? Take a look at this." Xiao Qin did not care about Elder Tang's attitude. No one would be able to feel happy after encountering something like Elder Tang. Xiao Qin only sorted out the words for Elder Tang to read. Elder Tang, who originally did not care and was prepared to brush things off, read them out twice, and his expression changed dramatically. He looked at Xiao Qin excitedly and said, "These are the last words of the legendary Scarlet Blood Pirate King. Before every legendary pirate king died, they would bury their treasures deep in the sea. Then, they would leave behind some clues in their last words for others to find, forming a kind of inheritance. This was the tradition of pirates." There was a feeling that outsiders could not understand that supported the pirate kings to do this. In fact, even if one was not a legendary pirate king, an ordinary pirate king would bury the treasures that they had plundered in their lifetime. Elder Tang was very clear on the fortuitous encounters that the Scarlet Blood Pirate King left behind. Xiao Qin nodded and smiled. "Smart. I was fortunate enough to obtain the Scarlet Blood War banner and restore it to 20%. I obtained some ancient talisman scripts. After I sorted them out, it is what you see." After saying that, Xiao Qin took out the Scarlet Blood War banner and waved it in front of Elder Tang, proving that he was speaking the truth. Elder Tang's body trembled slightly. He asked in confusion, "Brat, what exactly are your origins? To think that you managed to run into such a startling fortuitous encounter." Xiao Qin put away the war banner and said calmly, "Strictly speaking, it is not my fortuitous encounter. I did not buy the war banner either." "Never mind, let's not talk about this. What did you figure out? Just say it. If you can obtain the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's treasures, there will definitely be benefits for you." Elder Tang nodded and said, "I feel that we can ignore the first half of these 2 sentences. The main clues should be in the second half. Great minds think alike. That is what I think as well." And then, Xiao Qin looked at Elder Tang with some anticipation, hoping that Elder Tang could figure out something different. Chapter 1635. However, the final decision still depended on Xiao Qin. After thinking for a while, Xiao Qin went to the control room and saw Xiao Sua's group. Xiao Sua thought to himself, that is to say, Xiao Chen's true strength already rivals that of an early-stage major primal core venerate. Xiao Sua gathered a strong aura and pressed down on Xiao Qin. As Xiao Qin looked at Xiao Sua's back, he entered deep thought. Such a person is really hard to control. Buzz. After sensing for a while, Xiao Qin discovered that there were several hundred peak yang essence stage cultivators in this fleet. There were also many half-step Primal Core Venerates and Primal Core Venerates. At the same time, Xiaochen felt curious and expectant. What mission could it be for the Savage Blood Pirate group to put in so much effort? Whoosh! 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 Xiaochen waved his hand and said, "There's no rush. What do you all think?" Elder Tang indicated that he understood and performed a cupped fist salute before taking his leave. After not seeing Xiao Sua for some time, Xiao Sua actually broke through, reaching the early stage Major Primal Core realm. Elder Tang's heart sank. The scarlet mark in the depths of his soul was a great problem for him. This feeling of being controlled by someone was not good. The only consolation was that Xiaochen still respected him. The Cloud Sea realm was divided into 3 grades. Starry Sky Realm cultivators were called Star Venerates, Holy Light Realm cultivators were called Holy Light Realm cultivators were called Sovereign Personages. Don't worry. If I figure out anything, I will definitely tell young master. In that case, you can leave first. If you have any thoughts, tell me immediately. Without the Scarlet Blood War banner, you cannot open the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's treasure trove. Furthermore, your life is not in your hands now. Right after Xiao Sua spoke, the illusory figure vanished. However, the captain medallion remained floating in the air. Xiaochen nodded and gestured for Xiao Sua to continue. When Xiaochen saw Xiao Sua, his eyes lit up. He smiled and said, "Congratulations on breaking through." Xiaochen let the other party leave. However, he did not forget to give the other party a warning so that he would not dare to play any tricks. However, what shocked Xiao Sua was that his aura silently melted into Xiaochen's surroundings. Even the lineup to connect people was so big. It turned out that he had comprehended once. No wonder he broke through so quickly. Logically speaking, even with the golden life juice source, it was rather rare for one to break through so quickly. This was his first time experiencing this, so Xiaochen was more cautious and didn't make a rash decision. His body exuded a thick, murderous aura. When he got close, people would feel fear and involuntarily retreat. However, after verifying his identity, the black-clothed brawny man's attitude became much better. Then, he patted Xiaochen's shoulder and smiled. "Ha! Brat, your courage is commendable. To think that you dare to accept a mission from the Savage Blood Pirate group with this broken ship. Someone, bring them to the mission area and take good care of them. Let's go take a look." Xiao Sua said, "A 5-star pirate ship can be said to be extremely strong. The captain is at least a peak Major Primal Core cultivator. It might not be impossible for them to have the strength of a Cloud Sea Star Venerate. A mission that they find difficult to solve is definitely not simple. Who are you people?" The 10-odd ships headed for the Black Cutlass in a pincer formation. "Captain, send in your mental energy, and you will be able to make a decision. You can accept or give up." This false alarm allowed all the Black Cutlass's crew to release their bated breath. The pressure from a peak Major Primal Core Venerate was simply too great. The peak Major Primal Core black-clothed man asked with a cold expression. Xiaochen nodded and said, "You know that I always keep my word. The life juice source I gave you is of the highest quality and a lot. If you can find it, you will definitely benefit greatly from the inheritance and treasures that the Scarlet Blood Pirate King left behind." The other party had many people, and their origins were unknown. Xiaochen told everyone not to act rashly. Then, he led the way out of the ship's hold. "Captain, what should we do? They do not seem friendly." The Black Cutlass, which was rushing to the designated sea area for the 5-star pirate ship, suddenly discovered 10-odd small ships flying quickly towards it. Seeing that the others did not understand, Xiao Sua explained, "The captain's token has very high authority after it is upgraded. As far as I know, the 5-star captain's token can directly communicate with the Pirate Alliance and issue missions. After that, the Pirate Alliance can notify the nearby pirate groups that hold the captain's token." In the control room, some of the veteran crew members also expressed their opinions. When one looked over, one could see that Xiaochen's aura seemed to merge completely with the world. Xiao Chen's aura also merged with the world. Captain, good. Xiao Chen was much stronger than Xiao Suo. Furthermore, he was an elder of a rank 3 sect and was very ambitious. Actually, keeping him by Xiao Chen's side required courage and intelligence. Xiao Chen narrowed his eyes as he looked at Xiao Suo. He did not know what was going on with such a sudden development. At such a close distance, one would find it hard to breathe. 10 people flew over from the small ship. All of them were primal core cultivators. Of the 10, 3 were major primal core cultivators. The leader was even a peak major primal core cultivator. I feel that this is fine. Xiao Chen's heart sank involuntarily. A peak major primal core cultivator, that was an existence even stronger than Elder Tang. Knowing that Xiao Suo was testing his strength, Xiao Chen's heart was as clear as a mirror. However, he did not point it out. They are about to surround us. 3 days later, the crew members in the control room respectfully greeted Xiao Chen. Right now, Xiao Chen held supreme prestige on this ship. Every crew member sincerely respected him. Luo Nan and Fei Er had been in closed-door cultivation during this period. If they were lucky, they should be able to break through to the primal core realm after they came out. Elder Tang said after some thought. Then, he looked at Xiao Chen and said, I have to go back and think about it. The things here are not something that can be understood in 1 or 2 days. Just at this moment, the captain's token at Xiao Chen's waist suddenly flickered with a faint light. Then, it soared into the air and floated up and down. Xiao Chen sent in a strand of spiritual sense into the captain's token to send the message that he had accepted the mission. At the same time, the distant pirate alliance also recorded this message. With the corresponding captain's token, it would be easy to find information on Xiao Chen. Without needing Xiao Suo's reminder, Xiao Chen could guess that he had already taken out the captain's token and handed it to the other party. Let's wait and see. I feel that we can try our luck. After all, our Black Cutlass is a peak 4-star ship. Even if there is any danger, we can escape in time. A light flashed in Xiao Suo's eyes as he voiced his opinion. The adventurous nature of Xiao Chen was innate. Now that Xiao Suo's strength had increased significantly, he felt very confident. He wanted to test out Xiao Chen's strength. Possessing the strength of a star venerate was already an extremely strong existence. It would not be an exaggeration to say that Xiao Chen was horrifying. Pu Qi. A shrunken, illusory figure appeared on the captain's token. Then, it said, a 5-star pirate group is issuing a large-scale exploration mission. All the pirate ships in the nearby sea region can decide whether to participate or not. Mission difficulty, 5-star. Mission requirements, unlimited. Bear all the risks of the mission yourself. The Pirate Alliance only guarantees the authenticity of the mission. Captain, these people are definitely pirates. They might be the Cruel Sun Pirate Group's people. Xiao Suo's voice projection rang out in Xiao Chen's mind. To be able to use such a forceful method to notify everyone on a large scale, the rewards for this mission must be very bountiful. However, Captain, if you are not willing, you don't have to bother. It turns out that. Captain, although your cultivation is not there yet, you have already comprehended the state of being one with heaven that only primal core cultivators can comprehend. Your comprehension of being one with heaven is even deeper than that of a regular major primal core venerate. At the very least, this person had not humiliated Xiao Chen. Furthermore, he spoke politely and even gave Xiao Chen the life juice source. At that time, Xiao Chen would end up lagging behind. After saying that, the black-clad man laughed loudly and turned around. Let's go. Fellows, let's continue to receive the others. Xiao Chen revealed an expression of understanding. Then, he gently tapped the captain's token in the air. Xiao Chen could not help thinking to himself, that old fox. He could not help feeling lucky. Fortunately, I did not act rashly. Otherwise, the consequences would be dire. However, Xiao Chen believed that he could control the other party. However, Xiao Suo withdrew his smile and showed a grave expression. He said, a 5-star pirate ship issued a mission through the Pirate Alliance. Yes. It's actually a pirate group as well. The black-clad man revealed a mocking smile. It could not be helped. The black cutlass looked too ordinary on the outside. Xiao Suo's face brimmed with joy. Hee hee. It is all thanks to the life juice source that Captain gave me. I managed to comprehend it again. I can only say that it was a coincidence. Chapter 1636. The ordinary crew members were filled with curiosity and anticipation. However, the core members of the ship all showed unsightly expressions. In the captain's cabin, Xiaochen gathered everyone to discuss the matter at hand. Because he had a vague feeling that things weren't as simple as he had imagined. He wanted to go to the Blessed Enclave, so he couldn't stay here for too long. Initially, he thought that he was just helping them out. But why did it feel like he had boarded a pirate ship? That peak Major Primal Core black-clad man gave off a deep sense of unease. This lineup was too startling. Fortunately, the other party did not discover anything extraordinary about the Black Cutlass, thinking that it was just an ordinary pirate ship. Xiao Suo, Luo Nan, Fei Er, Elder Tang, and Xiao Chen were all present in the captain's quarters. Right now, these 5 people were the core of the entire Black Cutlass. As for Xiao Chen, he was the core of the core. Let's talk briefly. What do you all think? Xiao Chen was the first to break the silence. He signaled for everyone to express their opinions. After that, Luo Nan said, I feel some danger. The aura of that black-clad man is too scary. Even if there aren't 10,000 vengeful spirits on your hands, there are at least several thousand. Just looking at them from afar gives me goosebumps. The moment the black-robed man boarded the ship, he gave the captain and the others an oppressive feeling. The fear in his heart had yet to completely dissipate. Xiao Suo also felt some regret as he said, it's my fault for being too rash. I originally thought that this Savage Blood pirate group was just an ordinary 5-star pirate group. However, from the looks of it, this black-clothed brawny man isn't the leader of Critical HP. There's someone even more powerful above him. Clearly, Critical HP is a top-notch 5-star pirate group. Fei Er said softly, in that case, how about we leave? We have not seen the Savage Blood pirate group yet. If we leave now, we should still make it. Leave? Don't even think about it. I've already sensed that this region of the sea is completely covered by a mental energy. Every pirate ship is marked. Unfortunately, the Black Cutlass is no exception. Elder Tang, who had been silent all this while, spoke in a soft voice. When Xiao Chen heard that, his expression changed slightly. Then, he startled to his senses and said, a Cloud Sea powerhouse. That's right. There should be a star venerate guarding this place. The Iron Hand Yama will immediately kill his way over, Elder Tang said calmly. Xiao Suo raised his eyebrows. The Iron Hand Yama? That's right. It is that black-clad man from earlier. His nickname is the Iron Hand Yama. He is known to be unrivaled under the Cloud Sea realm. This Savage Blood pirate group is very famous in the Grave Sea. They have destroyed several rank 2 sections. Even regular rank 3 sects do not dare to offend them. Elder Tang's complexion was very unsightly. However, he still honestly told Elder Tang what he knew. Luo Nan immediately felt upset. Since you know about the Savage Blood pirate group, why didn't you tell me in advance? What is the point of telling me now? Elder Tang waved his hand and said, no one asked me. Seeing that an argument was about to break out, Xiao Chen smiled and said, things haven't reached the worst stage yet, so you don't have to blame yourselves or feel uneasy. If it's a blessing, it's not a curse. If it's a curse, it can't be avoided. Yes, Captain. After everyone left, Xiao Chen called out to Elder Tang and asked, Senior Tang, did you gain anything recently? Elder Tang knew that Xiao Chen was asking about the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's last words. He nodded and said, I have some ideas. This body is like a sword, unyielding pride, Heart is like the sun and moon, shining together for 10,000 years, body is like a mountain, spanning 5,000 kilometers, eyes are like the many stars, the sky is like no night, one hand covers the sky, the other is an emperor. The crucial thing is that the first and third sentences contradict each other. This body is like a sword, the torso is like a mountain. Is the body like a sword or the body like a mountain? As long as one understands this, everything will be easily resolved. Xiao Chen's eyes lit up. Elder Tang was indeed experienced. He had not thought about this before. However, there is no point in thinking about this. Let's get through this hurdle first. To think that he dared to accept the Savage Blood Pirate Group's mission. I really did not expect that. Elder Tang sighed, helplessness filling his aged face. Xiao Chen felt excited. It seemed like Elder Tang had something to say but did not finish. What does Elder Tang want to say? Just say it. Elder Tang hesitated for a while before saying, this Savage Blood Pirate Group has done many evil deeds. They have always been the nightmare of the merchant ships of the Grave Sea. This is especially so in recent years. They even dared to rob the ships of some blessed lands. They have long attracted the attention of the Heavenly Blood Sword and the Astral River Divine Shield. The Heavenly Blood Sword and the Astral River Divine Shield. That's right. The Heavenly Blood Sword and the Astral River Divine Shield come from the same source. They are the two great armies under the ocean's star. They are spread throughout the starry heavens, the greatest opponent of the Pirate Alliance. They are also the mortal enemies of many pirates. This is especially so for the Blood Sword Army. They are ruthless against the pirates. The Pirate Alliance really had an enemy. When Xiao Chen heard that, he felt slightly startled. However, he did not find it too strange. There were countless starry seas in the Great Thousand Realms. There were boundless benefits in the sea. No one would be willing to see the Pirate Alliance monopolize the benefits of the sea. Let's not talk about this for now. The Grave Sea is vast. The Blood Sword Army and the Astral River Divine Shield Army will not coincidentally encounter the Savage Blood Pirate Group. I'm afraid that they will use us as cannon fodder and kill us unjustly. Xiao Chen entered deep thought. You can go down first. Don't overthink. The Black Cutlass is not as simple as you think. It's really not a difficult thing to leave. Seeing the confidence in Xiao Chen's eyes, Elder Tang felt slightly stunned. He did not know where Xiao Chen got his confidence from. In reality, it would not be difficult for the Black Cutlass, which had the immemorial demon soul formation, to leave. The crucial thing was that Xiao Chen wanted to see what this Savage Blood Pirate Group was planning. If there really was a fortuitous encounter, Xiao Chen would definitely want to get a share when the time came. Half a day later, the Black Cutlass arrived at its destination under the guidance of Xiao Chen. Captain, come out and take a look. Xiao Suo somewhat excitedly brought Xiao Chen to the deck and looked around. This sea region was densely packed with more than 1,000 4-star pirate ships. There were also many elite 3-star pirate ships. The number of pirate ships reached a startling number. Among the many pirate ships, there was a huge pirate group that was exceptionally eye-catching. The banner that hung high at the bow of this ship could be seen even from 500 kilometers away. The setting sun looked like blood, and there were 2 crossed scimitars under the skull. This was the symbol of the Savage Blood Pirate Group. The other pirate ships around the Savage Blood Pirate Group were not even half as tall as the Savage Blood Pirate Group, making it look even more majestic and tyrannical. There were more than 1,000 pirate ships gathered on the sea, as well as many smaller ships. This scene was very shocking. Xiao Chen asked in confusion, Elder Tang, didn't you say that the Savage Blood Pirate Group is infamous? How come they still have such rallying power? They are from a righteous sect. Naturally, the Savage Blood Pirate Group is infamous in their eyes. However, in the eyes of the pirates, these are all accomplishments and fame. Most of the pirate ships probably came because of the fame. Some are probably just hot-headed. Xiao Suo chuckled as he explained softly. However, his expression immediately turned gloomy. However, our ship is too unremarkable. I believe that we will be used as cannon fodder. That is not good. After the excitement, Xiao Suo returned to reality, feeling dispirited. The facts proved that Xiao Suo's guess was right. That night, the Iron Hand Yama led a group of people to the Black Cutlass again. Hee hee. Little fellow, we meet again. The Iron Hand Yama grinned. Although he said that he was smiling, it was better not to smile with that ferocious face of his. Smiling would be even scarier. These are the positions of the various pirate groups for tomorrow. Remember to send your ships to the positions listed. The Iron Hand Yama handed over a map and pointed to a position at the very front. Xiao Qin took a quick look. The formation on the map was practically all mediocre ships at the very front. Behind them were the 4-star pirate ships and the Savage Blood pirate group in the middle. Indeed, it was as Xiao Suo guessed. The Black Cutlass was used as cannon fodder. This is the mission your Savage Blood pirate group issued? Xiao Qin did not say anything, but Xiao Suo directly voiced his dissatisfaction in his heart. What's wrong? Do you have any questions? You are using us as cannon fodder, Xiao Suo said after drumming up his courage. The Iron Hand Yama smiled coldly. This is your first day in the Grave Sea. Which pirate ship did not grow up as cannon fodder? If you are not going to be cannon fodder, do you think that I will treat you like a lord? Stop dreaming. One day, if you are strong enough, even the Savage Blood pirate group can be cannon fodder for you. The Iron Hand Yama had an extremely strong aura, one that was built on fresh blood and massacres. The Iron Hand Yama's words were unreasonable. However, they were unreasonable words. The suppression of this aura rendered Xiao Suo speechless, rendering him speechless. Little rookie, you are still too inexperienced. The Iron Hand Yama smiled disdainfully and turned to leave. Chapter 1637. After they left, Xiao Suo panted continuously. His back was already drenched in sweat. The aura that this person brought was too terrifying. Captain, are we really going to be cannon fodder? Xiao Suo still felt somewhat dissatisfied, feeling aggrieved. Xiao Qin looked at the formation on the blueprint and entered deep thought. In terms of formation, the group at the very front would suffer the most attacks. They would definitely be cannon fodder. However, this might not be a bad thing. Xiao Qin patted Xiao Suo's shoulder and smiled. Don't overthink. If you expose your strength, you will end up dying even more miserably. Given the Black Cutlass's true combat prowess, it will be easier to survive among the cannon fodder. However, I really feel somewhat dissatisfied, Xiao Suo said indifferently with his head lowered. Actually, while the Iron Hand Yama's words were unpleasant to hear, they might be true. He himself climbed to his current position step by step through blood and slaughter. Xiao Qin said softly, sooner or later, I will hand this pirate ship to you. Just treat it as training for yourself. There is not a high-ranked pirate ship that did not rise above the cannon fodder. Captain, stop talking. Adjust your emotions first. Danger often came hand in hand with opportunity. Xiao Qin always believed in this saying. He had somewhat recklessly accepted this mission of the Savage Blood pirate group. While it looked like he had jumped into a fire pit, he might be able to fish something out of it. Up on the watchtower, Xiao Qin looked at the huge pirate ship in the distance. He discovered many signs of damage on the ship. Many of the crew were currently repairing it. Just what kind of enemy could the powerful Savage Blood pirate group be unable to deal with? Why did they need to gather so many pirate ships to be their helpers? This was simply curious. Early the next morning, Xiao Suo steered the pirate ship to the front. The first 3 rows were mostly mediocre pirate ships, looking ordinary. They were all here to try their luck. Perhaps they had made the same decision as Xiao Qin and the others in a moment of hot-headedness. In the rear were many 4-star pirate ships. They placed the waning moon in the center, making it the main force. Whoosh! A stout man in the air leaped over and landed on the Black Cutlass's deck, leaving behind a storage ring. Here is 300,000 inferior-grade spirit jades. After the mission is completed, there will be another 300,000 inferior-grade spirit jades. If your performance is outstanding, there will be additional rewards. The Savage Blood Pirates can satisfy one of your requests. However, if you don't listen to orders, there will only be one consequence. I don't need to say anything more. After saying that, the muscular man quickly left. High risk is indeed high reward. No wonder so many pirate ships would risk their lives here, Xiao Qin said softly. Elder Tang's lips twitched. Who knows how many merchant ships the Savage Blood ship has robbed? They even dared to rob merchant ships from blessed lands. To him, these inferior-grade spirit jades are not even a drop in the ocean. Depart. Just at this moment, a resonant roar came from the front. The Iron Hand Yama stood on a huge seabird, commanding the massive pirate ships to advance. At the same time, his gaze swept back and forth across the numerous pirate ships. It made people feel as if his gaze was fixed on them. They didn't dare to act rashly, and even thought of running away appeared in their minds. Half an hour later, an island appeared before everyone's eyes. Strictly speaking, this should be a continent, not much smaller than a great realm. This is the territory of the rank 3 sect, the Skeleton Dragon Hall. Elder Tang showed shock on his face. Now, he knew what the Savage Blood Pirate Group wanted to do. The Savage Blood Pirate Group wanted to gather the strength of the many pirate ships and directly flatten this rank 3 Evil Dao sect. Robbing a sect, it turned out that this was the Savage Blood Pirate Group's true mission. If they had known beforehand, no one would have been willing to come. However, now that the situation was already like this, there was no chance to back out. Elder Tang, how strong is this sect? Xiao Qin asked. It is not very strong, slightly weaker than our beast-governing sect. It can't even compare to the rank 3 sects of the Blessed Lands. However, it is a rank 3 sect, after all, with deep accumulations. Why is the Savage Blood Pirate Group taking such a huge risk? Elder Tang expressed his confusion. He said seriously, perhaps there is more to this than meets the eye. Let's not care about that for now. It's time to go ashore. Soon, the many pirate ships soared into the air, heading for the continent in front. After entering the continent, the gravity decreased. The environment was not as complicated as the Starry Sea, and the many pirate ships could fly. Under the Iron Hand Yama's command, the pirate ships quickly traveled through the clouds, heading for the Skeleton Dragon Hall. The Skeleton Dragon Hall's people seemed to have received the news long ago. Aside from some resistance along the way, there were no obstructions. After a while, a huge bone dragon appeared in front, piercing through the mountains. The Skeleton Dragon Hall was in this huge bone dragon. The bone dragon was filled with experts, surging with killing chi. Indeed, the Skeleton Dragon Hall had already gathered all its experts in the sect. Kill! The Iron Hand Yama gave the order, and the pirate ships in the third row steeled themselves and charged at that horrifying bone dragon. You are seeking death. The cold snorts of the Skeleton Dragon Hall's cultivators came from the mountains. Countless formations activated, sending out all sorts of lights and killing moves of the Skeleton Dragon Hall's experts. The attacks covered the sky and covered the earth. The sky instantly changed color, turning gloomy as black clouds churned. Rumble. Attacks filled the sky like a torrential storm, covering the sky and sun as they descended, drowning the first row of pirate ships. Explosions rang out continuously. After this round of attacks, more than half of the pirate ships in the first row were destroyed. The pirate ships shattered and turned into dust drifting in the air. Without the protection of the ships, the pirates in the ships were exposed to the attacks of the formations, dying miserable deaths. The so-called cannon fodder was indeed true. Second row, prepare to kill. The Savage Blood Pirate Group needed to use these ordinary pirate ships to exhaust the Skeleton Dragon Hall's formations. The Savage Blood Pirate Group would use their corpses to pave a path for the elites behind to charge into the hall and start the decisive battle. With the Iron Hand Yama watching and the more elite 4-star pirate ships behind, the cannon fodder ships in the first 3 rows had no path of retreat. The pirates could only advance. If they hesitated, they would die even faster. After all, they still had a 50% chance of survival. If they fought, they might not die. As long as they did not die, the rewards they obtained would be extremely astonishing. After 3 rounds of attacks, the skeleton dragon hull's formations exhausted too much. Then, the 4-star pirate ships behind fired a volley of Neptune's rages and broke it. The Black Cutlass had a peak 4-star defense. As Xiaoqin expected, it easily endured the skeleton dragon hull's attacks. The Iron Hand Yama, who was in command, found the warship not severely damaged somewhat strange. However, the Iron Hand Yama's surprise lasted only a moment. Then, countless cultivators charged out of the bone dragon that pierced through the mountains. The Iron Hand Yama himself fell into a bitter battle. A huge battle immediately broke out. At this moment, the 4-star pirate ships behind also joined the battle. The battlefield immediately expanded by 100 times, affecting everything within tens of thousands of kilometers. The entire scene was incredibly chaotic. The Black Cutlass could not escape unscathed either, sinking into the battlefield. "Captain, our defenses are broken," Fei said anxiously. After enduring a few rounds of attacks, the defenses of the skeleton dragon hull were completely broken. They could not recover within a short time. In fact, most of the pirate ships in the war chariot had their defenses broken. "I know. Don't expose the arrow towers and Neptune's rages for now. I'll hold them off." Whoosh! The 3 minor primal core venerates of the skeleton dragon hull took the opportunity to land on the deck. Then, they smiled coldly and charged towards the ship's hold. Xiaoqin snorted coldly. Then, he personally charged over while holding the lunar shadow saber. "So, it is just a half-step primal core realm pirate. Quickly finish him off." The 3 minor primal core venerates of the skeleton dragon hull did not care at all, preparing to end the battle quickly. However, Xiaoqin happened to be thinking the same thing. Chapter 1638. I've finally left. I won't be able to deal with the savage blood pirates ever again. If he wanted to leave, this was indeed the best chance. His speed was too fast, and if he moved alone, it would be easy for others to target him. At this moment, the entire situation was a complete mess. The pirate crew had the advantage in numbers, and they were all vicious people. The sky should have turned dark long ago. Where did the sun come from? The cultivators on the pirate ships that were closer all felt a fear that came from their souls. It was very horrifying. Elder Tang appeared out of nowhere and suggested. The skeleton dragon palace's fate was already set in stone. They absolutely could not resist it. That's why this scene happened. Hee, interesting. He withstood a few rounds of attacks from the formation. It has been on the battlefield for such a long time, yet this ship is still in such good condition. Xiaoqin looked at the terrifying mysterious phenomenon of the 2-star venerates fighting in the sky. The secret of Savage Blood's appearance had to be on that star venerate. "I'll deal with this fellow." You all charge into the skeleton dragon palace and sweep away all the treasures and secret manuals. The situation of the skeleton dragon palace clearly did not look good. Even the hall master, the ghost dragon astral venerate, had to make a move. The situation slowly tilted in favor of the pirate groups. The 2 wills clashed in the clouds. Lightning flickered, dark clouds rose, and terrifying light flickered incessantly. The mountains shook, and the entire continent seemed to be trembling. If he were to lose face and become like those pirates, burning, killing, and robbing, it would go against his conscience. Boom! As long as he survived, his harvest would be incomparably shocking. A powerful aura was emitted from his body, along with a mighty aura. After that, in a fit of rage, the Savage Blood Star Venerate spent a lot of money, gathering manpower through the Pirate Alliance. Clearly, this skeleton dragon palace must have obtained something and leaked the news. When the savage blood pirates found out about it, it led to the destruction of their entire family. I'm quite curious as to what kind of item could be so tempting. Boom. Dong. Xiao Chen drew the lunar shadow saber and released a saber light that looked like autumn water. Why are you so nervous? It's not like I'm going to eat you. Take it, this is your reward. If you want to leave, then hurry up and leave, little rookies. Unfortunately, he couldn't partake in a fortuitous encounter of this level. Hee hee. I told you long ago that without the protection of the sex formation, you are not my match. Hand over the Mahamaya abstinence violation saber techniques incomplete manual, and I'll spare you and let your lousy sect continue to exist. What are you thinking? Xiao Chen estimated that the entire continent should be within the range of the star venerate's mental energy. Now that the battlefield was in chaos, and the Iron Hand Yama was in a bitter battle, his supervision was not as strict as before. Captain, it's 1 million low-grade spirit stones, Xiao Sua said happily after picking it up. Tut ti Xiao spirit dragon ti dragon to see that to again. Xiao blood star, I to ti to them t. I to I to that too. Xiao to again. Blood Xiao did not. However, he to experience that again. He. Done. Of sea. There. The sea. He. The dragon, the person. The T of. Of the people. Of the. T, Xiao, T war. T. Blood dragon. Of that. Since the savage blood pirate group used him, they naturally wanted to wash the skeleton dragon hall in blood and plunder the sect's wealth. As the savage blood pirate group spoke, a few more people charged up the black cutlass. However, Xiao Chen and Elder Tang easily dealt with them without much effort. Xiao Chen closed his eyes and enjoyed the warm sunlight. His body and mind felt relaxed as well. This is a big deal. It's not like they have not done this before. The harvest is very startling. Could it be that the savage blood star venerate could not see the situation clearly? Did he not know that if this continued, his sect would be destroyed soon, and he would not even be able to keep his life? Be it cultivation, martial techniques, or will of soul, the savage blood star venerate was stronger than the savage blood star venerate. Xiao Chen and the others acted like they were facing a great enemy. They circulated their veritable essence energy quietly, prepared to fight to the death at any moment. If we fail, not only will the reputation of this savage blood pirate group suffer, the losses will also outweigh the gains. The gains do not make up for the losses. No one is willing to do such a strenuous and unrewarding thing. The two star venerates clashed head-on in the clouds. After 10 odd moves, the skeleton dragon star venerate fell into a disadvantage. The skeleton dragon star venerate charged down toward the skeleton dragon hall. There were many peak major primal core experts who were as strong as the Iron Hand Yama. The Iron Hand Yama muttered to himself as he observed, a smile on his face. After 10 moves, the 3 minor primal core venerates of the skeleton dragon hall on the deck became headless corpses. The crew all heaved a sigh of relief. This experience was exciting enough. Participating in the destruction of a rank 3 sect would be something to boast about in the future. Yes, Captain. It looked like the savage blood pirate group had come earlier. However, the other party had the advantage of numbers and the terrain, so they suffered a significant disadvantage. Xiao Chen put away the ring and looked at the other party's back. Then, he said softly, "What a strange person. Let's go." Dark clouds covered the sky, making the people below feel even more horrified. The Iron Hand Yama laughed loudly and tossed out a storage ring before flying off. "You are seeking your own death. After I kill you, I will torture your soul and force out the location of the incomplete saber technique manual." The 3 minor primal core venerates of the skeleton dragon hall charging over were immediately suppressed, using the flawless saber technique to fight the 3. As Xiao Chen looked at the vast battlefield and the bone dragon moving through the tall mountains, killing chi surged around him. Shock waves surged as if everything had nothing to do with him. He looked even more ferocious and scary. Hee hee. Are we going to rob them? Let's go over as well. Blood covered the skeleton dragon hall, giving off a pungent smell. The blood had not congealed yet. When Xiaoqin saw the noisy entrance and the pirates excitedly snatching, he immediately lost most of his interest. Young Master Xiao, how about we take this opportunity to leave? Despite being at a disadvantage, the skeleton dragon star venerate showed no intention of giving up. Let's go, then. Just the clash of wills between the two star venerates revealed a side that made one's heart tremble. The black cutlass moved against the flow of the chaotic battlefield, slowly leaving the battlefield and slowly flying to the back. That person wore gray dragon robes, and his eyes sparkled with stars. Everywhere he looked, a will of soul merged with the world. Just like that, the skeleton dragon star venerate swept out. With the black cutlass's strength, the skeleton dragon star venerate would definitely be able to reap a huge harvest in the skeleton dragon hall. This terrifying soul will was enough to destroy heaven and earth. The cannon fodder level pirate ship in front of them. The cannon fodder level pirate ships in front shattered upon contact, turning into a pile of junk drifting in the air. Elder Tang narrowed his eyes and asked, "What are you trying to say?" "I did not keep track, but it has been at least 7 to 8 hours. However, this skeleton dragon star venerate still held on to hope. It had to be said that he was somewhat foolish. Now, he was already one of those cannon fodders. Why was he willing to come? He was afraid that the skeleton dragon star venerate was waiting for this moment. Even though he felt helpless, Xiaoqin still shook his head and chose to leave. Immediately, winds blew, clouds churned, lightning flashed, and thunder roared. All sorts of mysterious phenomena appeared. Fighting 1 against 3, Xiaoqin firmly held the upper hand. His great Dao might radiated out along with his saber light. How long did the battle last? Cloud Sea experts. The many pirate ships led by the Savage Blood pirate group clashed with this rank 3 sect of the Grave Sea. The Savage Blood star venerate snorted coldly. The will of soul grew stronger involuntarily. Xiaoqin shook his head and said, "I don't believe it. Just the initial reward for gathering so many pirate ships already requires hundreds of millions of inferior-grade spirit stones. Those strong 4-star pirate groups would offer even more. Clearly, it would not be good to use this Black Dragon's Gate as a target." The intense killing started. Everyone forgot about the existence of time. That's not right. In reality, when the Savage Blood pirate group gathered so many pirate groups to attack a declining rank 3 sect at the same time, the Savage Blood pirate group gathered so many pirate groups. Xiao Suo did not understand why Xiaoqin asked this. Crewmen immediately came out and carried the 3 corpses out. In the chaotic battlefield, the Black Cutlass looked very insignificant. A will of soul also came out of the Savage Blood pirate group and clashed with the skeleton dragon star venerate's will of soul. Right now, it was extremely easy to leave. The entire situation had already spiraled out of control. In just 1 round of attacks, half of the front row of cannon fodder warships died on the spot. This horrifying scene would definitely become a nightmare that would be hard to forget, testing the hearts of the people. The Savage Blood star venerate said coldly as he held up a scarlet saber. After leaving this continent, the group returned to the Starry Sea. The warm sunlight washed away the gloominess in everyone's hearts. Right after the Savage Blood star venerate spoke, he soared into the sky and charged at the skeleton dragon star venerate. After the skeleton dragon star venerate left, the true elites of the Savage Blood pirate group also came out in full force. Or did he have other plans? However, the auras of the 2-star venerates fighting could still be clearly felt, inspiring fear and trepidation. As the Savage Blood star venerate spoke, a person suddenly appeared on the bone dragon's head. "Several experts of my sect died before we obtained this saber manual. You want me to hand it to you? Don't even think about it." Xiao Suo asked Xiaoqin in the control room. "Senior Tang, why do you think the Savage Blood pirate group is attacking a rank 3 sect for no reason at all? At this moment, some of the stronger 4-star pirate ships smelled blood. They stopped conserving their strength and sent their experts to the huge bone dragon in the mountains. 15 minutes later, the Black Cutlass finally left the battlefield. They could only vaguely see the tattered bone dragon traversing the mountains. Xiao Chen felt shocked as he carefully withdrew his aura. The Skeleton Dragon Hall's trump card experts finally could not help but appear. Captain, what should we do? Should we leave or wait until we make a fortune before leaving? Ha 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 ha. Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate, you finally appeared. Since the start of the battle, the sky had been dark. This was especially so after the 2-star Venerates fought, which made the atmosphere even more oppressive. After gaining the upper hand, the Savage Blood Star Venerates immediately charged towards the Skeleton Dragon Hall's headquarters, snatching everything they saw. We set out early in the morning. By the time we arrive, it will be almost noon. Chapter 1639. Right after Xiao Chen spoke, everyone on the warship turned nervous. Indeed, the sky should have turned dark long ago. Why is there still so much sun? When Xiao Chen raised his head and looked carefully, he finally discovered something wrong. The sky was very bright, but there was no sign of the sun. Right now, it was indeed nighttime. However, sunlight had truly appeared. Furthermore, there was still warmth, the warmth of sunlight. Heavenly Eye, flying in the sky and tunneling underground. With a thought, Xiao Chen sent out the Heavenly Eye from his forehead, continuously climbing. As the Heavenly Eye rose, Xiao Chen's field of vision expanded. Whoosh! At a certain moment, the continuously rising Heavenly Eye seemed to break through a barrier. Everything Xiao Chen saw was pitch black. The night sky was high, and stars dotted the sky. Xiao Chen looked down. From this angle, Xiao Chen was like a deity looking down on the land. Everything appeared in his eyes. He saw a ring of light encircling the island where the Skeleton Dragon Hall was in the pitch-black starry sea. The ring of light encircled the island and approached. With the island as the center, the ring of light slowly shrank. Forming the ring of light were blue oceanic warships with war banners with golden shields on them. The light came from those war banners. Whoosh! Xiao Chen withdrew the Heavenly Eye into his forehead. Then, he said honestly, there is a ring of oceanic warships with golden shields and war banners surrounding this sea region. The encirclement is continuously shrinking. Astral Divine Shield. It's the Divine Shield Army. They are moving out in full. They are trying to catch all the pirate groups in one fell swoop, not giving them a way out. Old Man Tang said with a shocked expression. Astral Divine Shield. The 2 armies under the Ocean Star are finished. At the mention of the Astral Divine Shield, Xiao Sua's expression slowly turned unsightly. What is the Astral Divine Shield? Fei Er asked, feeling confused. No one answered. At this moment, Xiao Chen, Elder Tang, and Xiao Sua all entered deep thought. Xiao Sua, let the ship sink. The deeper, the better. After a while, Xiao Chen made up his mind and said seriously, there is no need to be so dramatic. You don't have to be so dramatic. Can't you find a place and slip away quietly? I don't believe that they have completely sealed off this part of the sea. Sinking into the starry sea was extremely dangerous. It would also place a heavy burden on the ship. Elder Tang firmly said, we must sink. Don't have any delusions. Under the light of the Divine Shield, no one could escape. Although the Divine Shield Army was not as inhumane to the pirates as the Blood Sword Army was, they would not be nice to the pirates either. Old man, I don't want to be treated as a pirate and get caught. But, our defensive barrier was destroyed earlier. It will take some time for it to recover, Fei said in a soft voice. It's fine. Elder Tang and I will hold on. Hurry up and get moving. Yes, Captain. Under Xiao Chen's urging, the entire Black Cutlass started moving quickly, slowly sinking into the sea. On the deck, Xiao Chen and Elder Tang looked at each other, took a deep breath, and then struck out with their palms. Bang! The two palms collided, and their veritable essence energy merged, forming a veritable essence energy shield that encased the entire ship. As the ship sank into the starry sea, the two's veritable essence energy started to drain continuously. Young Master Xiao, if you can't hold on any longer, just let me know. I will share more of the burden. Thank you. However, after 10 minutes, Elder Tang was shocked to discover that Xiao Chen's expression remained calm, neither hurried nor slow. A taiji diagram of yin and yang intersecting appeared under Xiao Chen's feet, forming an extremely peaceful aura. It was calm and empty, merging with the world. Although the veritable essence energy in Xiao Chen's body drained rather quickly, the absorption was not slow, either. Elder Tang felt startled. If this were the sea with dense spiritual energy, Xiao Chen would be able to achieve zero expenditure. Young Master Xiao really has many secrets. I have never seen someone who can balance yin and yang so naturally before. He has the air of an outstanding talent of the Taoist sect. As Elder Tang stared at the taiji diagram under Xiao Chen's feet, he was slightly startled. Then, his expression changed slightly as he looked at Xiao Chen. The Taoist sect. Indeed. Right now, the Confucian sect has declined in the Great Thousand Realms. It has already been many years since a sage appeared. Only the Buddhist sect and the Taoist sect are left. I have seen some Taoist sect experts execute this diagram under young Master Zhao's feet in the Central Great Realm. A thought occurred to Xiao Chen. He asked softly, Elder Tang, you have been to the Central Great Realm before. What is it like there? Can you tell me a little about it? It was a long time ago. When I was young, I showed off my abilities. I was a frog in a well in the grave sea, thinking that my talent was pretty good. I did not listen to my master's advice and arrogantly ran off to the Central Great Realm. And the results? Xiao Chen felt somewhat curious. Elder Tang revealed a bitter expression. Clearly, recalling the past was a painful matter. There is no need to talk about the results. There are immortal dynasties, strong empires, boundless fortuitous encounters, tens of thousands of inheritances, 4 Buddhist temples, 3 Taoist sects, 8 sword union sects, 72 noble clans. Only the strongest genius with the bloodline of the great desolate 100 races can step onto that stage. A yearning appeared in Xiao Chen's heart. He asked, have you heard of Ancestor Dragon City? Ancestor Dragon City is the most ancient city in the Divine Dragon Empire. I heard that it has an even longer history than Dragon Capital. However, I have never been there, so I do not know much. Even the Central Great Realm. I have never truly experienced its glory. There is really no need to mention the past. It looked like Elder Tang had a sad past in the Central Great Realm. The expression on his face could not be faked. When Xiao Chen saw the situation, he did not ask any more questions. Actually, there was no need to guess to know what happened. Elder Tang was just proud and arrogant, and he received a heavy blow. What was even worse was that he met the geniuses of the great desolate 100 races and was ruthlessly humiliated. Such a thing was simply too common. This was a major reason why Xiao Chen was not willing to head to Ancestor Dragon City. He believed that Lu Riyue still remembered him, just like how he still missed her. However, without sufficient strength, could he hide behind Lu Riyue if he went? Captain, we can activate the defensive formation. Fei Er's voice rang out. Xiao Chen and Elder Tang stopped. Then, they took out spirit jades and sat down cross-legged. They started to recover their exhausted veritable essence energy. At the same time, the expression of the waning moon star Venerate, who was exchanging moves with the skeleton dragon star Venerate, changed slightly. He sensed the light of the Divine Shield Army's Divine Shield. You fellow! You called the Divine Shield Army over. The savage blood star Venerate roared hoarsely, feeling enraged. The severely injured skeleton dragon star Venerate smiled coldly and said, let's die together. You destroyed my sect, so I will not let you off easy. Honestly speaking, I already agreed to hand over the Mahamaya Abstinence Violation Saber Technique's incomplete manual to the Divine Shield Army's Sword General. It is not a small group of the Divine Shield Army that is coming. It is all the Divine Shield warships in the Grave Sea. You. The Savage Blood Star Venerate spread out his mental energy. When he saw the Divine Shield's light slowly approaching the continent, his expression changed completely. You are willing to work with the Divine Shield Army, but you are not willing to hand over the incomplete Saber Technique manual to me. Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate, you really hate me. Give it to you. What can I do? Even if I give it to you, I will not get any benefits. The Mahamaya Abstinence Violation Saber Technique is a saber technique comprehended directly from the Gautama Divine Palm's third move. Although it is only an incomplete manual, it is the original and contains the true meaning. You cannot imagine the conditions that the Blue Shield Army agreed to give me. You will regret this, the Savage Blood Star Venerate said coldly. The Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate guffawed and said, "Don't worry. The one who will regret this is you. You should not have destroyed my sect. You should not have coveted my incomplete saber technique. Otherwise, your Savage Blood Pirate group could have continued living freely." Chapter 1640. The Divine Shield Army slowly pressed in. The Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate was no longer in the mood to continue fighting. He could not defeat the other party in the first place. Right now, all Shao Qin could do was flee from the Savage Blood Star Venerate and meet up with the Divine Shield Army's Sword General. At that time, the situation would be reversed. Clearly, the Savage Blood Star Venerate expected the other party's intentions. He said coldly, "You can forget about escaping from my hands without paying a price." "Huh, so what? In any case, you will definitely die today. The Savage Blood Pirates will also become history." The Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate laughed maniacally, not fearing the other party at all. He frantically counterattacked, looking for an opportunity to escape. It was true that the Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate could not defeat the Savage Blood Star Venerate. However, the Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate did not think that it would be difficult for him to leave. However, the Savage Blood Star Venerate's strength surpassed Shao Chen's expectations. After a few lunges, he sent out all sorts of killing moves. Even so, he was unable to find an opening that would allow him to successfully break out. Holding the Scarlet Saber, the Savage Blood Star Venerate smiled evilly and said, "Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate, it looks like you might not have a chance to walk out tonight." After wiping away the blood at a corner of his lips, the Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate paled slightly. The middle stage Starry Sky stage. Unexpectedly, you actually broke through. There are still many things that you cannot imagine. Obediently hand over the Saber Manual. If we work together, we will be able to break the Divine Shield Army's encirclement. The Savage Blood Star Venerate remained calm, not flustered by the fact that the Divine Shield Army surrounded him. Dream on. The Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate seemed to make some sort of decision. He tossed aside the sword in his hand and swapped it for a saber. "Haven't you always wanted the Saber Manual? Today, I will show you the might of the Mahamaya Abstinence Violation Saber Technique." The surroundings suddenly became silent. The Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate suddenly gathered all the scattered auras in the clouds into his body, continuously draining his soul energy. His body seemed to be accumulating some kind of power, constantly accumulating. The Savage Blood Star Venerate's expression changed slightly. He held his saber with both hands and shouted coldly, preparing to attack first. He interrupted the Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate's attack. Normally, Shao Qin would not mind seeing the Mahamaya Abstinence Violation Saber Technique. However, there were still strong enemies behind him. Clearly, this was not the right time. Xiao. Seeing the Savage Blood Star Venerate charge over, the Skeleton Dragon Star Venerate roared and burst out in advance. Suddenly, a golden swastika symbol appeared on his forehead. It shone resplendently, illuminating the surrounding 10,000 miles. Mahamaya Abstinence Violation Saber Technique, breaking the mundane. In that instant, a profound, twisting aura appeared around the skeleton dragon Star Venerate. The savage blood Star Venerate, who was among them, strangely recalled the time before he became a pirate. In the mortal world, hidden in the bottom of his heart, the things that left the deepest impression. That winter, he was only 13 years old. In his memory, that winter was especially cold. As he begged on the street in the cold wind, his body stiffened from the cold. Just as he thought that he was about to die, a woman appeared and took off her white fur coat. He struggled to open his eyes. He wanted to see the woman's face clearly, but he couldn't. He could only see a blurry smiling face walking past him. Hua! Just at this moment, something strange happened. A giant Buddha stood in the sky, bathed in divine light. Glaring angrily, the Buddhist commandment blade in the Buddha's hand radiated a bright light. It pierced through the woman's chest, causing blood to spurt out. No! The savage blood Star Venerate felt intense pain in his heart, startling him to his senses. Then, he discovered that the skeleton dragon Star Venerate's saber was only 2 centimeters away from his chest. A giant Buddha stood behind the skeleton dragon Star Venerate, forming hand seals with its left hand and holding a saber with its right. The saber light merged with the light in the skeleton dragon Star Venerate's hand. You are seeking death. The savage blood Star Venerate suddenly turned berserk. A startling baleful aura erupted from his body, and a poignant scarlet setting sun appeared behind him. The savage blood Star Venerate's expression twisted, and his entire body seemed to turn illusory. Ka-sie. In the time it took for a spark to fly, the setting sun in the sky turned into a scarlet river that descended with the saber light. The saber light directly broke the skeleton dragon Star Venerate's saber bathed in Buddhist light. However, the tip of the saber still stabbed in by 1 centimeter uncontrollably, bringing intense pain. The Buddhist light and Buddhist seal all vanished. When the saber shattered, the skeleton dragon Star Venerate vomited another mouthful of blood, his complexion turning even paler. When the skeleton dragon Star Venerate saw that the savage blood Star Venerate seemed somewhat distracted, he quickly took the opportunity to flee, not daring to linger. The other party's strength was beyond Xiao Chen's expectations. He had already brought out 30% of the state of breaking the mundane, but he still could not severely injure the other party. The Mahamaya abstinence violation saber technique was a saber technique that Xiao Chen comprehended from the Thunder God Palm's third move. As the savage blood Star Venerate watched the skeleton dragon Star Venerate leave, he muttered to himself with a cold expression, breaking the mundane, how can the mundane be broken so easily? Towards the end, the rage on his body grew stronger, and his killing intent grew more terrifying. It was as if a blood-colored ocean had gathered behind him, creating monstrous waves that reached the heavens. Amidst the raging winds and huge waves, his figure seemed especially terrifying. Xiao xiao xiao. The skeleton dragon Star Venerate abandoned the important land of his sect and rushed all the way. When he left the continent, he saw the warm sunlight. Joy appeared on his face. They're here. The Divine Shield Army has finally arrived. At this moment, the Divine Shield Army's encirclement had already closed up. The silhouette of the Divine Shield Army's warships could be seen with the naked eye. The skeleton dragon Star Venerate looked around and found the flagship, then quickly flew over. Xiao Chen moved very fast. The starry sea's gravity did not seem to affect him at all. Where did this insignificant person come from? To think that he dares to barge around under the light of the divine shield. Quickly stop. On the surface of the sea, a clear and sharp shout suddenly sounded. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Instantly, countless divine shield battle flags appeared. Whoosh. Immediately, countless divine shield war banners shone with piercing light like mirrors, freezing the skeleton dragon Star Venerate's figure. The skeleton dragon Star Venerate, who felt like hundreds of warships locked onto him, did not dare to move rashly. Right now, he was incredibly weak. This round of cannon fire might take his old life. General Jian, this humble self is the skeleton dragon hall's palace master. I have come with a saber manual, the skeleton dragon star venerate shouted with narrowed eyes. Get him to come down. Yes, General. The resplendent light on the skeleton dragon star venerate's body disappeared. Then, he heaved a sigh of relief. With a few flashes, he landed on the huge flagship of the Divine Shield Army. The Divine Shield war banners around the flagship fluttered loudly in the wind. Cultivators wearing golden battle armor stood on both sides of the deck, looking at the skeleton dragon star venerate expressionlessly. In front, the sword general sat on a throne on a flight of steps, looking down at the skeleton dragon star venerate from high above. In every starry sea of the ocean star, there was a Divine Shield army stationed there, with a general overseeing them. Every general had a title. However, only this person before the skeleton dragon star venerate was known as the Sword General. This was because of his sword. His sword techniques rampaged about, making him look like a general charging into the enemy lines on the battlefield. Hence, he was known as the Sword General. In the Grave Sea, many pirate groups trembled in fear at the mention of his name. A somber air spread out on the ship, making the skeleton dragon star venerate feel strangely uneasy. The situation seemed somewhat different from what the skeleton dragon star venerate had imagined. The Sword General was far from being as enthusiastic as the skeleton dragon star venerate had thought. One could even say that he was cold. General Jian, I have already brought the saber manual. I even used my sect as bait to lure the Savage Blood pirate group over. Now. Alright, I got it. Hand over the saber manual. On the throne, the Sword General interrupted the skeleton dragon star venerate's words. But, I said, hand over the saber manual. The Sword General did not give the skeleton dragon star venerate a chance to speak at all. He repeated himself in an indifferent but domineering manner. Whoosh! Right after the Sword General spoke, the somber air spreading out on the ship turned even colder. A chill assaulted the skeleton dragon star venerate. He looked at the guards with cold gazes, even loathing, and the aloof Sword General on the throne. The skeleton dragon star venerate's body started trembling for some reason. He thought of the Savage Blood star venerate's words, "You will regret this."